On Saturday, February 17th, horror addicts kick off the Creepy Channel Crawl, a 24-hour marathon featuring today's up-and-coming horror tubers, ready to jump scare their fan base to meet YouTube's latest requirements for monetizing their videos and getting their content seen by fans like you. With 24 channels hosted by YouTubers needing your support, and animated horror hosts Dead West and Mandy from Screaming Soup. Tar Nations! Dare you to survive the Creepy Channel Crawl. Goes live Saturday, February 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on YouTube. Visit horroraddictstv.com to see the schedule of channels dying for your attention.
What? Party! I can't believe we freaking made it. Where's my beer?
It's over there.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. 24 hours of streaming.
One for me, one for all y'all. I didn't really pour that out because it's carpet. Come on, guys. Come on.
Let's get Brian on. Where's he at?
Let's call Brian. Who's ready for Brian? I'm gonna count.
Oh no, not the.
Are you ready?
Not the Plants vs. Zombies. I've blown so much of my time on that.
Are you ready, Brian?
Yep.
Okay, join on and then I can add it into the stream.
What do I have to do?
Turn your camera on.
It should be on. It's not. All right, hold on.
Oops. Hi, guys.
What up?
Who's ready to party? I got my beer. I've switched from caffeine to beer now because after what 4 hours, I don't care about being awake anymore. I just don't care about being awake anymore.
I see so many people from the stream in the chat. You guys all rocked.
There were some awesome streams tonight. Some people in the chat. Zach was awesome. Dice rolling. We saw some amazing streams. We watched a movie with the fedora.
Yeah.
We played a game with Homicidal Homemaker.
Yeah.
We played Mad Libs.
There's Brian.
Did it finally shut? All right.
Yeah, okay, now we see you.
And wait, hold on. I don't want to see us though. There. All right, you ready? Here it goes. Brian, you are like straight up the most pimp person I've ever known in my life.
I'm not pimp right now. I am a pirate vampire.
Pirate, vampire, pimp. Behind you is your pimp relative.
So what else did we see tonight? We saw so many of the things. We talked about witchcraft. We talked about horror movies. We talked to horror children. There was children on the stream.
Yeah, they didn't have any beer, thankfully. But
They didn't. What else did you see?
Oh.
Oh, we watched some trailers with the movie Void.
Yeah.
So many things happened, guys. There were ups, there were downs. We laughed, we cried, we kind of slept a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Took little turns.
But not at the same time, so you guys were never alone.
Yep.
We talked about dongs. So many dongs were talked about.
Dongs were dropped in like almost every chat.
So many dongs were dropped. I just spat a little bit. There have been outfit changes. It was an epic night.
Monty promised me that there'd be more rants in nearby future. So
yes, horror gal. Lots of people are going to be streaming. Do you guys?
Holy shit! Thank you, the Late Late Horror Show.
Dino is like the most generous person ever. Can we do a rap for Dino?
Yeah, sure.
All right, you ready? His name is Dino. He's super really kino. I like his channel because he makes lots of movies and he reviews them for all of those of us with movies.
There you go. Dropped it.
And those of you who don't, guys, come on, my rapping isn't that great after 24 hours of streaming. Not to mention that I was up at like 6 a.m. yesterday. Give me a break, guys. You know what? Brian's the musician. Brian, would you give us a little impromptu? What you do?
Think that's going to be difficult because right now the video is probably about 30 seconds behind, which is going to make me syncing this up nearly impossible.
Well, Will you dance with us and show us the Reaper dance again? It's a party.
Again, I'm like 30 seconds behind. Watch, I'll wave right now.
But you're not behind for us.
No, we saw you.
Yeah, I'm not. So, but for all the people out in viewer land,
No, you're
it's
way.
going to seem like I had a
time.
brain seizure.
We're on the same time now.
We're on the same time. They're delayed from the three of
The
us.
chat, like.
Oh, are they?
All
Ah.
right,
So,
come on, Brian.
We'd be in sync.
Everybody do the Reaper. Everybody do the Reaper. Brian, teach us the Reaper. I'm ready.
I don't remember. I made it up on the spot.
What was it? Can't get. All right, let's do the Reaper.
There was this, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like a gun thing.
The gun thing.
I can teach them my dance that I made up.
All right.
All right,
So
you guys
changing
ready?
the diaper.
This is the dance I made up. It's called Changing the Diaper. Here we go. Ready? So, I can't see if you guys can see it. Okay, I want to make sure you can see the dance. Okay, so this is what you do. Open the diaper, wipe that puppy, close it up. That smells bad. Throw it away. All right, let's do it all together now. Open. Changing the diaper. I also do a matte sprinkler.
And this is what happens when you stay up all night.
Yes.
I want to do a drinking game.
What kind of drinking game should we do?
I don't know. So everyone in the chat, this is a party. Tell us what your favorite highlights were of the creepy channel crawl. I'm in camouflage.
And no crow feather, Reaper, not Reefer.
Washingtonians.
Yes. For those that don't know, Crow Feather Productions is Canadian Jason on our show.
I'll be right back. My nose is running.
Who's been like killing it with concerts lately all over the area. So Nephilim Rising, if you ever get a chance to check them out, they have a lot of videos online.
Oh, should we show them Brocky's outfit?
Brocky's wearing an outfit?
Yeah.
More than the usual fur, huh? Oh, his sombrero. Senor Brocky. Is that racist? I wasn't trying to be if it was.
It's a little racist. All right, there. That's all he's going to do, though. I'm sorry, guys. We're really loopy. Like, we loopy.
I think we have too much energy for Brian, though.
Yeah, why is
No, it's not too much energy for me. Right now, I'm trying to figure out the delay. It's throwing me off really bad. I'm trying to figure out the best way to deal with the delay.
Are
Don't
we
worry about
delayed?
it.
Like when...
Oh, very bad. About 20 seconds, something along those lines.
But you're watching this stream. Just look at the Skype.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do right now, but I also want to look at the actual chat.
Oh, the comments.
So I'm trying to, so I've masked out the video so I can just look at the chat. And I think now I'm going to be finally,
All right.
Mute
Actually-
that video, though.
I think it is.
so I'm good now. So now I can actually participate and be silly. And I can show you the best thing about
Hey.
this entire
You have a
costume
smaller head.
is
Ouch.
I told you that one's pokey.
What is your watch?
it's not, it's a cat. It's a snap bracelet cat.
Oh, you have a cat. That's
Can you
cool.
see- I don't know how well you can
Yeah,
see
it's got
it.
little legs and stuff. I see it now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like your watch. Or not
So,
watch, your wrist.
Reanimator said that she loved all the interaction with everybody.
Sweet.
PMR Bones liked meeting new people on the creepy channel crawl.
Mm-hmm.
When the bunny ate his food and he was like, munch, munch, munch. I was there for that. When Shauna fed his bunny.
Oh, nice.
Dead Real's been here all night. I've also seen Eric, Amy's autopsy report, Laura's Looney Bin,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny's Horror Show, Dice Rollin', Homicide Homemaker.
Shonicle Reviews has been like on all of them almost.
Yeah, dude. He's
Everyone I
hardcore
saw.
till the day you die.
A lot of them sticking around.
No, and I have to say that this community is really important to me. Even though I don't always do horror films, I do, well, every film I do is horrible, but I don't necessarily always do horror films, but still, this is the strongest community I've ever seen. And it's when I first started doing this, it's the first community that I made. It was Screaming Soup was the first people I hooked up with, And you two were the second people I hooked up with.
Well, you're the first
And
person.
then all of them
Yeah, you were
hooked up
our
together.
first.
And
know that you were
it's
slinging
just
it around.
it's been a great thing. Everyone in the communities are really nice and tries to help out people. And right today, while watching the streams, I was also doing some cameos for some other people that I don't know were part of this, but one was a horror person and one was like another comedy person. It's just I don't think I'm ever going to get big. And the thing is, it's just nice to make friends and trade cameos, and that's all I could ever hope for.
Well, you always been big to us, and you know, you're
No,
awesome,
you guys are my
man.
pals, and I'll always be there for you.
Likewise, man.
Now those jerks that screaming soup.
Their video was great. Most people had a pretty easy time playing it, and everybody at least tried. So
Yes, the
I really-
effort was there.
yeah, it's just some technical difficulties happened, but their video was awesome. They made a lot of them.
And we want to make the Creepy Channel Crawl an annual thing.
Yeah, it might be for different reasons next time or something. But...
Yeah, maybe we'll highlight something else. But
Uh-oh.
whoa, what's YouTube doing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's Google Hangouts. Someone calling us? It's crazy.
Who would call up?
No, it just opened for no reason because it's haunted.
Oh well.
Google Hangouts
What do you
is haunted.
expect?
But luckily we're not using it, so we're good.
So
So who has the better hat? That's the question.
well, she took my hat.
They're actually both my hats for my drag shows, so I have the better hat because they're both my hats.
Oh, where's my donkey hat?
Your donkey hat?
Yeah,
Your ass hat?
my ass hat.
Where's your ass hat, honey? Where's your ass hat?
I had it a second ago.
Where'd it go?
I don't know.
Did you give it to the dog?
No. Probably went into the bedroom somehow. Oh well.
I didn't. You're a liar.
Yeah, well, screw it.
I'm so tired, dude. Rocky, are you coming?
Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
Hey, Al's here.
Ooh, Alf.
Hot Cheetos and blood. They ate waffles. That was another highlight of the night.
I had a lot of fun on their channel. They said they want me to Skype with them sometimes.
Sweet.
Stream
Yeah.
with them.
You're pretty fun to Skype with. I would Skype with you.
I think they want to ask me wrestling questions.
Holy shit. That's awesome.
And I want to watch them eat waffles.
Oh, Sean says horror is his favorite hat.
Nice.
I don't really get it, but I like it. I don't get much right now, though, so.
Wear it with pride. Doc the Metal Freaks and everybody's in there. Partying it up. I'm drinking some Arrogant Bastard because, you know, it says a lot about me.
Oh, I want some.
So, Brian, what is episode 3 of Mondo Theater? Any idea of a hint of what it's going to be about?
Episode 3 is a nudie cutie film called Nudes and Nuts.
Nudes and nuts.
And it will feature, I'm going to tell you this right now, it will feature the find of 2018, a character called Zippo. That's all I'm going to tell you.
So are you going to have to censor a lot of testicles in this nudes and nuts?
Oh,
No,
will
strangely
there be
enough,
balls?
strangely enough, 60s nudie films can never show genitals of either sex, so there will never be any dongs, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not even a hint of them.
Just booties and titties.
Basically. Sorry, Gory.
It's okay.
If I get rich, I promise that I will produce a dong film for you.
So, the nudie cuties and such like that, are they movies you grew up on? Are these, like, favorite movies of yours?
I'm not that old.
I don't know when these movies came out.
Let's not place me in over 18 in 1962.
Well,
That would be.
see, to be fair, I would have probably saw Nudie Cuties at the age of like 4 because I had like HBO and Cinemax and Showtime, and I saw a lot of porn at the age of 4. So I don't know.
What you would have more have seen is the guy movies, your Porky, stuff like that. That's what you would have seen. These things were roadshow movies. They played, before feature films in drive-ins or things like that. They never really were shown on TV. Did a very short lifespan too, because it was right where the censors would allow that versus right when actual real porn started. So I mean, there's like a really small window for that stuff.
Hey, Wes Craven's first film was a porn, softcore porn.
It's a good way to get started. You can make a lot of money. They're quick and easy to do.
Yep. That's what they. Same goes for Sly Stallone, but he wasn't directing it. He just started it. Oh.
Yeah, I saw that Dr. Wolfie that just started up.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sneaky bugger. It's okay. I love Dr. Wolfie. Yeah.
I don't think he was meaning.
Oh no, my grand enemy, the real death, just entered the chat.
The real death?
Yes, he's my enemy.
Oh.
I thought the real death and the Reaper were going out.
Yeah, I thought
No.
the real death was a woman.
No, that's Mrs. Death.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Don't get those two mixed up.
Oops. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, I love that guy.
He's running wild through our chat.
He's always hilarious when he's in streams.
Wait, what? Okay, how come we have a major star watching us and it's one that's already on a downhill slide? Why can't we get one that's like going up at this point?
I think he just likes to come in and make sure that we're not bad-mouthing the Mummy in the Dark Universe.
Yeah.
We did that once and it seemed to really upset him.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know how they could mess that up so bad. That's for someone for someone when I was a kid, I first got into horror with the Universal horrors and anything from Toho. That's where I first got into it. And to watch them just step on this stuff, it's horrible to me.
Whoever's running Universal right now has no respect for what came before. It's just try and market to whatever is hip now. Marvel Universe is hip. Let's rip that off completely.
Yep, and there's absolutely no reason to do that. It could have grown organically.
It could have.
But the whole concept of trying to shoehorn in the universe,
shoe it in and just rip it off and make it all action too. It's that shouldn't be an action-based universe. It should have some action, but not be revolving.
Homicidal Homemaker says you can just picture him sitting there jumping on couches and watching the stream. And I notice Queenie Todd is here and Laura's Looney Bin.
What up,
Poor
ladies?
gal. Beth S., who she won the game over on Homicidal Homemaker stream.
Oh, nice.
Well done, well done.
Yeah, I saw the Looney Bin one. That was a really good one. I liked Laura's Looney Bin.
Played some Mad Libs.
Uh-huh. I enjoy Mad Libs. We play Mad Libs with Lols a lot. It's one of his favorite things to do.
It's true.
does he wear a costume then?
Sometimes, yes.
He was born in a costume.
You have to get really used to his actual face, otherwise your head will melt like an Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
We've kind of built up an immunity to it, but still, even long exposures can blind us to look for temporarily.
Do you guys have hats on in the chat?
Tom Cruise says, a nice touch with your matching outfit and wall.
Yeah, I'm in camouflage.
If you stand still.
Another 24 hours? Oh, hell no.
If you if you stand still, can Tom Cruise see you?
And why is Tom Cruise talking to us? If he really likes us, he should be out there pushing us. This is what Tom Cruise should be doing.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Canadian Jason, a.k.a.
Canadian
Zach Bird.
Jason, thank you.
You didn't expect that. Canadian Jason's really nice.
Yeah, he just gave us $5.
He's super nice. He's the most polite slasher I've ever met.
I mean, he's going to kill you, but he's going to... I'm not that nice.
I'm nice, don't offend you.
He's going to kill you, but he'll be very polite about it.
Yeah.
That's the Canadian part of the Jason.
So what are some other highlights from this 24 hours of live horror?
I liked Randoms. He had an awesome stream.
Yeah, he did with Zach.
Yep, from Cabinet of Terror. That was a really good one.
There's so many different countries, so many different topics.
The movie Void from Germany. I really liked that one too.
Yeah, it was fun. I got to watch trailers with him.
Mm-hmm. He's a really cool guy.
CP's stream with Emily and Count Jacula was really good.
Drunk Count Jacula.
Drunk Count Jacula. Oh, the memories.
Brian, have you ever managed to watch one of a drunk Jackula streams? He gets drunk in most of his streams.
Yeah, I watched a couple of his streams, and I talked to him a couple times. He's a really interesting guy. We should get back into reviewing movies, but I can understand how, it was all the changes in YouTube. It drained the will out of him,
Yeah.
and now he does mostly streaming.
But
Yeah,
he
it's
will,
like kicking the balls.
He'll team up with Guru for their horror vlogs sometimes, where they're both. It's on Guru's channel usually, but
And he's coming back because recently Twitch kind of kicked him in the balls too. So I guess his balls have led him back to YouTube.
I don't think
Ooh.
he'll mind me announcing that. Yeah, he got, I think, kicked off Twitch for showing his nipples.
For showing his nipples.
His nipples, not
Which is crazy because I show my udders in my catsuit all the time.
YouTube.
That's like 6 boobs for the price of 2.
I think it's 6
Uh,
bucks.
In the stream, Kelly's hitting on Tom Cruise. Kelly, you can do better.
Captain Banana, wait, where is Captain Banana?
It's been a while.
Oh, and let's not forget Screaming Soup. They've been here watching throughout the night, and they made
Yep.
those amazing end videos that we've been showing, that they animate themselves. They have the best animated horror show you're going
By
to
far.
see, especially here on YouTube.
You'll probably have a hard time finding anything better off of YouTube anyways.
Exactly.
They're amazing. They put so much into it. And big thanks to them. They promoted the hell out of this as well.
Yes, they did.
They did a
Please
lot.
check out Screaming Soup, support them, and support everybody in this crawl. You're going to find links to all of those people on the Horror Addicts website.
Mm-hmm. Just, hell, go even sub Tom Cruise. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
And even people who we didn't have on the crawl, like like I said, the Death Twitch. I think he's watched the whole dang thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just that support, adding to that watch time to help with these creators is amazing.
Very much so.
So a roundup, though. I mean,
Oh wait,
how
no,
well
Death Twitch
this
was on
help
Horror
people?
Show.
Oh, okay.
That's
well,
right. I chatted from there.
Yeah.
So how well did this help people in their quest for more time?
Well, let's see. If you got 30 people watching an hour, that's 30 hours right there live.
Yeah.
Plus, anybody,
Right.
you get more if anybody
Well,
goes back and rewatches it. Or,
If you have like a 5-minute video, even if 50 people watched that, you're not going to get a lot of watch time. But if you do a 1-hour stream, and like right now we have 60 people watching, that's 60 hours if that kept that way for an hour. So yeah, streaming really helps you get up that watch time. I mean, I do think you need to have your regular videos. You need to have a variety of different content, but streaming is a great way to interact with the community. It's a great way to interact with your fan base, and it's a great way to build up watch time.
yep.
The
So-
people I really feel sorry for are the not Screaming Soup, who has a long animated show, but a lot of animators who put a lot of time into it.
Oh.
They make short cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
They make 1-minute, 2-minute, 3-minute cartoons. This is going to impact them more than anybody.
Yeah, some videos, they just take a long time to make, and it's like that's what I feel like is wrong with why they changed it, is because it's kind of screwing people over that put a lot of quality instead of just quantity in there. And
Well, Homicidal Homemaker, her
Exactly.
videos can take like a month to make. They are phenomenal. They're movie level production. But her channel isn't able to be monetized right now because she doesn't have the watch time, which is really unfair because it takes about a month to make a 5-minute video. And so, I think it's wonderful that we have people like, the Horror Show who are workhorses and are giving us constant content. We need that, but we also need other the work to create such a, fantastic production.
so I feel about Brian's Mondo Piece Theater. He gets like
Well,
one of them out a month, but there's so much quality put into that video. I can see why there is a gap in between.
And that's one of the things too. If you take somebody like Casey, who puts a lot of work into her shows, it makes other creators want to just push out content that might not be as good just to push up the watch time.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you want to think about quality and versus quantity.
I think
When in
YouTube,
fact, quality matters more to me than quantity, and I think to most people it does.
and I think YouTube's kind of sending out the wrong message by making this rule like that. It's like, I don't know, they're punishing people who put a lot of time into their video.
Another highlight I want to bring up tonight is Confused Reviews, another fun animated horror host from the horror community. Not only was he on the horror show, but we got a face reveal, which
Oh.
was really fun.
I missed the face reveal.
It was so beautiful. I heard angels, and then like a dove flew across the screen. It was
You'll have-
seriously.
You'll have to describe it to me later.
Okay. It's like describing a baby
Oh wait,
steer. How do you
I
describe
could probably
it?
go find it.
I guess so.
Yeah, the videos are probably still up.
Hey, Cody Leach. Yeah, so many wonderful memories.
And they're all captured, so you can always go back and rewatch. And that's another way that this will build up hours, because not only what you saw live, that's like, 40 people watched it, that's 40 hours live. Then it's on your channel, people are going to go back and watch, and it's an hour-long video, so it's just going to build up your hours.
And I feel like with any video a creator makes, I mean, YouTube's gonna put ads on that, and the creators deserve that monetization. They deserve the money from those ads, not YouTube. YouTube, sure, get a percentage of it, but the creators, the ones putting the hours into editing these videos, filming them, uploading them, producing them, all of the work. And so, yeah, it's a real shame, but hopefully, coming together as a community, we can help each other get there.
Mm-hmm. What else,
And
Sean?
what's a little strange about that too is everyone knows that the money is relatively small.
Oh, very.
Oh,
Unless you're a giant channel. It's the whole concept that we get damaged because they can't spend the time to put real people, and it's hard because there's millions and millions of hours of YouTube video going up every day. But at the same time, it's sending the exact wrong message. And it's telling people to just put up as much quantity as they can. It's telling people not to care about the quality and just get the watch time.
And it's saying that your work isn't worth being paid for. And on top of that, if you're not getting your videos monetized, YouTube isn't going to promote that video. And getting recommended is one of the best ways to find new people going to get to see it, possibly, because it's not being recommended to them.
I told this to Monty earlier when he was streaming. I've told it to you before, Brian, but yeah, you work so hard on your videos that you don't deserve a single penny taken away from you. I mean, even if you're not making a lot of money on YouTube, I'm not doing this for the money myself, but I still feel like it's a slap in the face where they're like, oh, well, let's take it away from you.
And the other thing, too, is I noticed from a lot of the streams tonight, if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, you're not even allowed to get a super chat. And we had so many people who are like, why can't I send this creator who I'm enjoying right now a super chat? I want to donate because I'm enjoying their work. And they weren't even allowed to get that.
Yeah, Jackulo especially, he was trying to, super chat everybody that when he was up and crawling around with it. He's like, why is there no super chat on this one and the next one? Why is there no super chat on this one? And he was like, no. He's trying to help these people, and YouTube's not letting him do that.
Absolutely.
You do see a lot of the bigger guys now. I mean, most people aren't nostalgia critic level, but he has actual connections with advertisers now. It's just part of his show. And I think Kelly actually mentioned that already once, and that's the thing. You think eventually there are going to be people that are going to want to advertise on your show because you're reaching the audience they're looking for. And that's the one thing YouTube needs to give. It needs to give groups and pools of advertisers that will be okay with your content and have pre-screened your shows. But they don't. It's a free-for-all, and that's the real problem. You could get basically any kind of ads, and those people could get angry. Yeah. But YouTube's going to shoot themselves in the foot anyway because they still can't get a hold of this, and the ad makers are getting more and more upset.
But yeah, there's tons of ads for horror movies, so why can't they just be on a horror channel? It's like, why can't you just put what makes sense with other things?
I would like to see it. It should be done in a way to where the advertisers can fill out a form saying, what their advertisements are for. Are they for clothing? Are they for makeup? Will you be a great fit for a beauty channel? Is it for a movie? You'd be a great fit for most of the channels in our community. They should be trying to match make these advertisers to creators instead of just eliminating creators from being able to reach those advertisers altogether.
Everybody would benefit for that. I mean, a lot of times you just skip the ad because if it's not something you're interested in. But if it was something I actually want, sometimes I'm going to watch a trailer to a movie, but then the ad's another trailer for a movie. I'm like, oh, I want to watch that one anyway, so I'm just going to definitely watch it.
And there are other things. There is Brave, which is helpful. There's Patreon, which is something that you and I use on our channel. There are other things you can do. You can also link your PayPal. But it is frustrating that YouTube has just decided to just demonetize these channels. Because I think just having your channel not be able to be monetized is just kind of a kick in the ass. It just makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, especially if you've been doing this for a while, and like I said, even if you're not doing it for the money, it's just respectful in a sense. It's like what?
And it's really extra work too, because you end up doing whack-a-mole because you have to keep constantly changing for the rules. And then, like, remember, Patreon did something really horrible a little while ago and reversed it. All these things, they're big corporations. Their bottom line is what can make money that they can make.
Yeah.
And it's going to end up being whack-a-mole for everyone. You're going to be constantly having to figure out new ways to do things instead of making content.
And they got to be careful because, Rome fell one day. So.
I also think there needs to be more transparency from YouTube. They need to be explaining, like, if you get a strike or something on your channel, you should know exactly what it is for. What did you say or do or show in your video that caused you to get that? If they make a big change, they should be explaining fully how these things work. Like, especially with copyright strikes, how a lot of times I have no freaking reason why, and especially the limited or no ads. We've had that on, like, unboxings with our kid. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's just, it all comes down to lack of communication from YouTube. So
some people in the chat are saying that I should be the head bad guy in a Halloween 3 remake.
Yes.
Yes.
I would drive out to LA to do that just because I want to see how long they fire me, how hammy I can get, because that's about all I can do is ham.
So?
We dig it.
You cook a great ham, Brian. I'd eat that shit all day.
A few more things I can say that are helpful. I mean, obviously, I'm a big supporter of streaming. Another thing I see is your channel page. You can customize that to make your videos featured. Have playlists, because the YouTube actually measures how much watch time is on your channel, not necessarily per video, but by minute. So if you have a whole bunch of videos that are similar, like a whole bunch of movie reviews, put them on a playlist, and then people can watch that like television, which is what YouTube really wants them to do.
Yeah.
And have them set up in a way to where when you go to your channel, you see videos and not just a blank screen or what you're liking. You have to kind of personalize that. Another thing I would recommend is your social media. Make sure you have links back to your YouTube channel. I know a lot of people on Twitter don't have their YouTube channel linked, and then I try to promote them, and then people can't find their channel. Those are just little things you guys can do to, help out.
Be found.
Yeah, because YouTube isn't gonna help.
You're gonna be a needle in the haystack, but at least be a big needle with a shine on
it. I do think I don't think there's anything wrong with being cult or niche, because a lot of horror films are that way. A lot of stuff that we really like, it's never going to reach a mainstream audience, and that's perfectly fine. And the same thing for channels too. But you do deserve. I'm out to entertain people, and I would like to get out to the largest number of people I can get.
Yeah.
And that's all it was really for me. And people had sort of different reasons that they do this. And that's basically because I was in school, I was the school class clown. It's a continuation of being a class clown, basically, which I've pretty much been my whole life. It feels, so for me, I've never been hit with anything yet. But it does feel like there's a constant battle with visibility.
Well, that's the thing.
Constant battle with it. And that's what everyone does, and there's no solution for it. Mm-hmm. But it is draining, and you can see how someone, like, again, mentioning Jackie, like, you can see how that would get to be too much for him.
Yeah.
Particularly when
that's sad.
A vlog where they show a dead body and they make it to the trending page.
Yeah.
But that's life. Life is always a pyramid. There's always jerks at the top who will survive everything.
Douchey, cool kids at the top. We don't want to hang out with them anyways, and that's the thing. When you choose horror, you're never going to get to be that big. Even the biggest horror channels, they're still very small compared to your Logan Pauls and Cutie Pies and crap like that. But it's so fun.
It's exciting when some of our friends like Found Flicks are doing well, though. I like to see that.
It's awesome. I root for anybody. Even if they just made it up a little bit, it's like good.
Yeah, I'm happy for any success.
And that's the thing, Brian, like, he wants to be seen, and that's another thing. Like, YouTube won't promote your video if it isn't making money and stuff, so they penalize you not just with the money, but they hide you away. Like, it's annoying. It's why you want to make money, so that way YouTube will help promote you and help show you around and suggest you to people.
Brian, we actually have a question for you from Israel.
Yeah, I saw that. It's making me think about it. I actually saw that question. Obscure things, and I think there's a lot of 50s horror films that a lot of people haven't seen. X-Men with the X-ray eyes, all the giant bug films.
Them.
And again, I'm old enough that probably a lot of people, they didn't have the same thing that I had, but I know most people know who Elvira is, obviously, but around that same time as Elvira, the world was full of, there was no cable, and the world was full of small UFH stations that had their own horror hosts.
Mm-hmm.
And that was almost everyone's introduction to horror. You'd be watching Universal packages, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that I think they're slow moving, and I think a lot of people who are used to your modern films might not like them, but I saw the Universal films, I saw the Toho films, I saw the Gamma films, I saw all the B-50 movie monsters, everything that was giant, your giant mantis, them, anything that was big, and then a whole bunch of crazy like Roger Corman and really cheap films. And some of them are actually really interesting. They have some really interesting ideas because you could do them cheap, and sorry, the screen simply said something.
We saw
I
that
saw that too. Doc the Metal Freak, I actually won a drag competition putting on the Ritz. So it's kind of funny you mentioned that.
My wife, the drag king.
I'm dead sexy.
I look actually pretty hot as in drag.
My drag name is Sunny Boner. I don't know. Come to the Wenatchee area.
Mine was
get your show.
Just Danny Nightmare, but with an I. Oh.
One drag night.
Yeah.
I also see a lot of people in the chat are talking about horror conventions, and if you love the horror community, that is another place you're going to see more horror fans doing all kinds of things. It's not just YouTube, and I think you always have to look beyond YouTube because, we never know what's
Go. Can anyone hear me if I talk? Let's see. I hear typing.
You can't hear us? Hey, there we are.
Here we go. Webcam malfunction. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, I was talking about.
Can anyone hear me if I talk?
Oh.
Maybe. Brian, can you see us yet?
Huh.
Can you hear us?
All right, so I guess now I'm going to entertain everyone with stories. So somebody asked me to tell a story, and I will tell a story. Someone needs to make up a place for me to start, and I will. Oh, now I don't get to tell stories anymore.
Sorry,
no, tell a story, Brian.
We would love to hear your story.
Tell us the story.
Tell us about the old days.
We had to unplug it and plug it back in.
All right.
Yeah, that's my best tech support advice for anybody. Turn it on and off again. Seriously, works every time.
Right, can you hear us, Brian?
Uh-oh, did he
Brian.
leave us? He left us. He left us. I'm just going to call him back. He can't get away with that, is he?
Coming for you, Brian. You heard me. At least he laughed. Maybe it was coincidental.
Yeah, this is being strange beyond belief.
Can you hear us, Brian?
Yep, I can hear you, but I can't see
I
you.
can see you now. Came back.
But
Well,
that's
it's okay. You can
fine.
hear us. I have 2 cameras set up, but I think one of them's being dodgy.
Figure out which one would dodge.
I don't want to unplug one, though, and accidentally fuck it up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
That
they look
one's
the same, the
using.
plugins. Alright, here you go.
The one moving is the one that you need to unplug.
Alright.
That worked?
Let's try this again.
Alright.
Alright.
There we go.
That should work.
Now you see us?
Ah.
Yep.
Alright.
So you're going to tell us a story about the old times.
Yeah, tell us the story, Brian.
Well, you have to tell me how to start the story.
What?
And
There
no, it won't
once
be
was a
about
dong
movies.
from Nantucket.
A man from Nantucket?
A dong.
Dong.
Correction.
A dong from Nantucket. Well, that's a really special story because that dong was a personal friend of mine. And his name was Charlie. And he loved Nantucket because he was a big fan of those covered bridges. And that's about it. That's all I know about Charlie. Just a good friend. We spent some time together. We only hugged.
But it was the kind of hug that would last a lifetime. So what I was saying before our webcam went off is, yeah, we have a Horror Tube workshop coming up at Seattle Crypticon this May, and hopefully Count Jacula and the Horror Girl will join us, and we're gonna talk about Horror Tube. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So highly recommend conventions. Any convention that's near you. Our local convention is Seattle Crypticon. If you go there, you guys can see us there. And if not, look up the convention that's nearest to you. Somebody asked if I still draw dongs. Yes, Tom Cruise, I do. My Instagram is gory_draws_dongs.
Tom Cruise wants you to draw him as a dong.
I could do that. Running.
No, just put a little motion.
Oh my god, dong
Little
bouncing on
ball.
the couch. Oh, that makes me inspired to do animation. I'll have to talk to my buddies at Screaming Soup and see if they can help me.
Oh, a little dong like a Mission Impossible hanging there.
Oh
with a little
my
string.
God, yeah, I
You
love
can have
that.
a whole Tom Cruise dong collection.
Oh my gosh, that could
You're
be
going to hear from
serious.
Tom Cruise's lawyers really fast.
I love it.
You know what? I haven't gone to any conventions yet because I'm waiting till I get super famous so I can boss everyone around and be a general dick.
Look at you, Brian. Go in there and start bossing people around. They'll just
My whole point of life.
Yeah, I
Just to
ain't
get to that position where after I've been the person pushed down all these years, I can now just throw all that bile back up on others.
Dude, you look like a Hollywood director. Just walk in there and start ordering people around. They will listen to you. And they'll be like, who the fuck? But they won't argue. They'll just do it. You just gotta pay like one kid $20 to spread a rumor about like you're directing a movie coming up. And that's it. Once he spreads that around, you walk in there, you just have the confidence, everyone's gonna listen.
That sounds great.
You know, I tell you, I would love to make movies, but there's no reason to because the movie I would make has already been done. Someone already did Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That would be the kind of nonsense I would do.
But Brian, they teased it, but never gave us Attack of the Killer Carrots. You could do that.
I don't have a helicopter to crash.
Oh.
As Kelly says, a dong is perfect for Tom Cruise. He always plays cocky characters.
He is a cock, that is for sure.
And let's not
It's
tell me
true.
about the secret dong pictures I draw of her. This is Maven as a dong reading a book. This is Maven doing a review. Hello, creepy peeps. I'm a dong with bouncy balls.
It's weird to see a dong with cleavage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, by the way, I actually have a Reaper movie in my head.
Oh,
It will
yes.
never get done, but it was just a writing exercise I did in my head.
Do tell. I want to hear.
I'm not going to say just in case I
Big Top
somebody
Reaper?
I get $1 million.
Well, if I'm ever making movies, I'm going to need you to send me that script. We'll do it.
Aren't you,
I
thought you were working on a script. Don't you have one, Danny?
The Reaper movie pitch.
He doesn't want to do it right now. He wants to.
No, I'm not gonna pitch it. I can tell you the general plot
Give us
of
the
it.
general detail.
The general plot is. Yeah, I'm getting feedback on somewhere. The general plot is that there is a uber rich guy that is dying, and so he hires 2 thugs to kidnap the Reaper so he can't take him.
Oh, nice.
That's the general plot. And then the basic gist is that these 2 toughs are constantly annoyed until they're driven crazy by the Reaper. And the Reaper's pals come to talk to the old guy and by mistake kill him right off the bat. So there's no even need for it. And then it turns into a musical and a bunch of other stuff. It's just meant to be stupidly silly.
I love
That's the general gist of it.
I love the idea. It kind of.
Where are you located, Brian?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
That's so far away.
Yeah.
What?
How are we going to make a movie
Drop
with you living all the way over there? That's not even a real place.
It's where that guy from The Babysitter's from.
It's not a real place. Like, what, is the North Pole real too? Do you believe in Santa Claus, Dan?
I believe.
If I haven't been there, if I haven't seen it, it ain't real.
I don't know. Brian's pretty mad.
Is it Kalamazoo or Michigan you have a problem with? I mean, is it the whole East Coast of the United States? Is it the Midwest?
I've never been there.
She doesn't believe in Kalamazoo because of the name, and Michigan for her is just a big cornfield, nothing else. And maybe there's a barn. That's about it.
Yep.
Plain land as far as you can see.
Nope. Don't believe it till I see it. Well, you want me to believe in tooth fairy now? Magics and stuff?
Your plot kind of reminds me of did you read Terry Pratchett books?
No,
The
no,
Discworld?
maybe.
The Discworld?
I'm trying to think. I read a lot when I was young.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Hogsfather one where Death has to fill in for Santa because someone hired to kidnap the Tooth Fairy so they could get Santa's tooth and therefore kill Santa with his, if they have his tooth they could use it to kill him somehow. So Death had to be Santa and fly around on a sleigh.
Well, the whole point of a plot in any movie that I would make would just be to drive the jokes.
Yes.
The plot exists as a vehicle for whatever gags I want it to do.
Exactly. I don't know. I want to see your movie.
too.
Canadian Jason wants to move to Kalamazoo. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
We just raised in this after party alone, we've raised $15. So how much of a movie can we make on $15, Reaper?
Well, any one of the nudie cuties you could probably make for $16.
You're cute, and I'm sure you can get nude. All right, let's make it.
You're talking to Brian. The problem is that you should be talking to the Reaper. He would pocket $14 and make your movie.
Yeah, why not?
You know, by the way, I'm
Dan,
actually
Dan. You
been
can't do it.
lately been having problems with the Reaper because the voice I do gets louder and louder, and I can do it for less and less time because basically at this point I'm screaming in that mask. And if you turn the volume real close, you can hear me breathing heavily because of how much I'm screaming.
Well, you just need to give Captain Banana more dialogue then, so
Yes.
you don't have to talk as much.
That's just a pitch correction, but
Exactly. Oh, love Captain Banana.
Captain Banana's
And his
the best.
He-Man toys, which I believe are technically your toys, but that's awesome.
Wait, I figured it out. The problem. Rocky is almost always nude, and he's very cute. Nudie cutie movie. Do it on $15 easy. He'll
Nudie-
be paid in wet food.
Nudie cutie nudie cutie pound puppy.
Yeah, there you go. Nudie cutie pound puppy. We can buy probably I don't know, a case of wet food for $15. Already got a camera. Done.
A box of Scooby snacks to go over his dog dong.
Hey, Gory B movie. Next producer. By the way, one of these days I will reveal what my middle name is. The B in Gory B movie. But
I know
not
what
today.
it is. I know what it is.
Not today.
I'll give the small hint. Screaming Soup reviewed the film.
Not today.
I've yet to, but someday.
okay, come on, you guys can do a dong movie. You just need socks and some, flesh-colored paint.
Flesh colored paint.
you're mostly there.
I want to do an animated dong movie, though. I needed to have Dead West and Mandy teach me how to animate.
Marilyn, someone asked me what my opinion on Marilyn Manson is. I listen to a lot of metal. I like him. He's okay. He's does not anything that rises up to the top of my list. For theatrical metal, I'm a King Diamond guy all the way.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, what about Alice Cooper?
I love Alice Cooper. Early stuff. Right after he got rid of his band, I have a soft spot for some of the mid-level stuff, but mostly early stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Alice Cooper put on one of the best shows we ever saw, like live.
I also see some more people from the crawl in the chat. Thank you, Carnage Candy. She worked really hard today and gave a great stream. That was fun, and she got a little bit of drunk Count Dracula on there, and God, I can't remember who the other guest was. Oh, Glamour that was fun, and Ken.
Yeah, Carnage Candy also did a great job of like checking in on almost all the other streams as well.
Tom Cruise, you are not the first person who has said that. I'm like exactly like that dude, only like not as cute. But otherwise exactly the same. And also nobody's ever perioded on me.
Jesus.
It's true, he gets perioded on.
I know.
Haven't you seen the movie?
Wow, a lot of love for Alice Cooper in the... Yeah, I mean...
And Emma's here. She was on with Nightmare Maven. That was a really fun stream.
Yeah, the chat's
Cooper and Twisted Sister at once. I don't know if that show would be a... I mean, when I was in high school, I loved Twisted Sister too, but I don't know about that show. I once saw the weirdest metal show I ever saw was I once saw Slayer opening for Wasp, for God's sakes.
Whoa, that is weird.
And everyone in the front row was a Slayer fan and just did not like Wasp. It was a bad night for Wasp, let's put it that way.
Not nearly on the scale of known, but Kitty, who I love, is a female Canadian metal band. But they opened for, who was it? Not LL Cool J. Coolio. And then Coolio opened for... Coolio opened for ICP. It was I didn't even stick around for all of it. We just went there for Kitty.
Strange lineup. We've seen some weird stuff with Guar, too. Which, by the way, Guar is one of the best live shows you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yes. You will be drenched. Wear white.
Eric gets it. Eric is so freaking cool.
But yeah, I love Kitty. I've seen them several times. I've seen Guar 20 times now, so... I've seen Alice Cooper before. He was amazing. I've seen Megadeth. I think Megadeth was probably the most, like, flawless on just the way they played. Like, everything just went so smooth. Hitting those fucking like 5-finger sweeps and shit. It's just so amazing. But
you do a really good 5-finger sweep air guitar though, and that's one of the reasons I love you, because there's nothing sexier to me than a man who can really wail on an air guitar.
And it's funny, they didn't lose a single step during Megadeth. But it was funny because this guy got on stage and he just like started like rushing towards them. I don't think he was trying to hurt them. I think he was just drunk and trying to party on stage next to them. But the singer from Job for a Cowboy, because they opened for him, he tackled him off the stage, but then like this big fat security guy just started punching the guy in the face, and then Dave Mustaine was like, no, he pulled the security guy. I was like, don't hit him, just send him back into the pit. The guy went right back into the pit all bloody from his face, but he didn't care. He was drunk, I guess, but I don't know.
I'm loving all of the dong titles in the chat. I feel like I have like given rise to a demon that has a life of its own, but seriously, you guys, you make me so proud.
Oh, even when you took your small nap, Maven and Emma and Horror Gal and Mother Mayhem all did a great job of joining in with Dong Talk with me.
You know, I gotta say, when I first started talking about dongs on Ghouls Night Out, we initially got some flack. There were some people in the chat who were like, oh, I don't want to hear about the dongs, or I'm going to unsubscribe from this channel because of the dongs. And you know what? Maybe we haven't won the YouTube war, but we've won the dong battle. And I think, you know, that's worth celebrating.
I think the gory hole has come to expect the dong at this point.
The gory hole has embraced the dong, and for that, I embrace the gory hole. You guys, you bring a tear to my eye.
You still need to do a Dead West dong. A total boner.
When you say it like that, it's so weird. Yeah, we gotta do a. I've done a Mandy one. It's just this blank piece.
There's a lot of questions going by I haven't answered.
Oh,
Just
answer
saying
them.
that. Sorry.
Answer
Yes.
them.
Be
Feel
the
free.
responsible
Bye.
adult here. We're drunk
Jump
and tired.
in. Don't wait for us to shut up. Just
Oh, I
answer
want
a
to ask you guys
question.
for something really quick in the chat. I was thinking about making a certificate, like I survived the creepy channel crawl, that you guys can print out. If that's something you're interested in, let me know, and I'll.
I want
put
you
it
to say the
printable off
shape
the
of a
website.
dong. It has to be the shape of a dong.
Their certificate in the shape of a dong.
Yes, it has to be.
I can do
Or,
that.
you can just go get them in bulk from the sex shop and just write it on that. Then mail them out.
Just have Captain Banana hold a couple oranges, and he'll look just like a dong. So.
You know what? One of my favorite actual physical dongs is if you get. I've had friends who've had those sex toy parties. But a lot of the sex toys, the vibrators and the dildos, come from Japan, China, on the other side of the world.
Monty G is requesting to be drawn as a dong.
Absolutely, Monty G. And I guess in other parts of the world, they're not allowed to make a penis.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to make it not a penis, it basically looks like a penis, but it's got a face on it, and the faces all look like Dora the Explorer. But I don't know.
Well,
they make
she'll
me
be
smile.
exploring for sure.
Yeah, there's some interesting dildos and toys out there. I remember one time me and my grandpa went to go tear down this trailer that he technically inherited in some trailer park, but he didn't want it, and so he was going to tear it down and sell the lot. But apparently there's people that were hoarding and living in the trailer illegally, and they left a couple of crack pipes and some dildos that had mice heads, cartoon mice heads on the end of the dildos. So it's I guess the mouse goes into the hole. It's just I'm not touching those.
Isn't that your horror script, Danny? The start of it?
Yeah.
That needs a title, though.
I kind of wish I was filming when we did that, just because it would have been a good, weird opening for a
I got
movie.
one. If the apocalypse comes, dong me.
Buffy. Paid you. Screaming Soup had a good one on there. The War of the Planet of the Dongs.
I like that.
Holy shit, Scuba Steve!
Scuba Steve, thank you so much. What are we gonna do for this one? Scuba Steve, he is the best. He likes the dongs, when they're drawn by us.
You.
You could draw a mean dong if you wanted to. You just don't believe in yourself enough.
Gory, it seems you filter most of your life through dongs for some reason. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I think she's repressed it most of her life, and now she's finally got an outlet just to dong out.
I'm not much different than any 13-year-old boy who's obsessed with boobs. I just happen to be a grown-ass woman who likes dongs.
True that.
And again, more power to you.
Yep.
It's not my fault that, Danny, I'll be hard at work editing, and if I've been really, really hard at work editing, Danny will reward me with a helicopter dong. It's the highlight of my freaking day.
I don't care how much anybody gives us. I'm not gonna reward anyone with a helicopter dong on live.
So yeah, I would like to know what Emma said. Have any channels been saved because of what Emma started with Save Horror Tube? What we've been doing here with the creepy channel crawl? I know Random Ross, he got enough subscribers, so let us know if your channel was saved. That'd be wonderful news to share around.
I think Maven came real close. If she haven't she been saved?
I don't know. Maven, are you saved?
I know that she's had a drastic help and I think she got all the subscribers that she needs at least.
And you guys will still continue to get views and watch time because we're gonna have. I have to update some of the videos on the playlist because some of them had to be restarted. But yeah, you'll still get them afterwards if they stay on your channel.
Nice. Dice Rollin' got enough subs now.
Yes, Dice Rollin'! Woo woo!
Honestly, even if we didn't Emma's and our stuff, and everybody else that has really been helping out with the Save Horror Tube, because it's not just been us and Emma. I mean, it's been
A lot of people have. A lot of people have
just
been doing.
spreading the awareness has been a
Blood
huge
Bath
help.
and Beyond did a really cool thing
Yes,
where
they
they had
did.
people submit shorts
The
that really
30s.
helped people. And a lot of people have been really creative and coming up with ways to help other members of the community.
So, I mean, it's a lot. And even if you haven't been, like, completely saved by the deadline, we're just helping you get as close as we can to where you can rejoin as soon as possible, you know? We don't want anybody left behind, including you, Brian. So. Yeah.
By the way, the one thing I really enjoy doing with you two, which we should do more if you ever get the chance, I loved going through Monster Squad with you.
Yes.
That was a ton of fun. And that's, what, an hour and a half?
Uh-huh.
We should do more of those if we could find a spot to do them where we're not going to get slapped down by the YouTube gods.
Last time I didn't get a copyright strike, though.
We didn't get one last time, thankfully. But you never know with that. Sometimes it's just bam. Sometimes you get it, like, way later, too. It's like, okay.
Congrats, Eric from the Death Twitch. He might get 10K subs this year, so that's a huge accomplishment.
Kelly says,
Certainly deserves it.
all I need is a 13-year-old boy. Great. Rolls her eyes. We have a 13-year-old boy.
Don't volunteer him.
No, but I'm just saying we have one. Laws is 13. And it's starting to really show.
Oh, yeah. Teenagers, am I right?
Yeah, big difference. Wolfman's got nards. Hell yeah,
Yep.
he does. But yeah, Brian,
Wolfgang's got nards.
I'm going to try and plan a movie watch with you soon. We'll have to do that. Look on our schedule.
No, that was a lot of fun, and it's a lot easier to roll and make jokes and everything else when you've got a movie going, and you kind of know it beforehand and stuff. It's fun to rip on it and stuff like that. So,
especially
here it's like I'm trying to read a stream and everything else too, and it's a fun thing for people who might not have seen the film and might not know trivia about it and other things like that.
Oh yeah, and you provided a lot of trivia, so I appreciated that.
Congrats
nice
to
job,
Casey, Homicidal
Casey.
Homemaker. She's close to 7,500 subs, and I'm sure
Nice.
she's going to get that watch time.
Yeah, that's all that
Her channel's amazing.
The only thing that was hurting her was the watch time, but that's because we were saying she puts so much effort into like her videos that it takes so long to make them like
And it's a
movie
whole
quality.
team of people at her
Exactly.
and Neptune Cinema that work to make these amazing videos.
Mhm. She's been doing some Slayaway Camp lately. I've been watching that. She's adorable.
Yeah.
She had Stripe the Gremlin on a couple days ago.
Nice.
Been watching some of her Slayaway Camp stuff.
Well done, Auntie Creeps. Close to 800. The Blair Dong Project. I dig it, Eons Away. I dig it. You know I dig it. You can't stream, Eric. I hate it when they take away people's ability to stream, too, because that hurts a channel. Like,
Because that is like...
stop cutting people off at the balls.
Yes, Tom Cruise. I shaved my head.
Oh, yeah, he's all fuzzy now, guys.
Buzz. The Blair Dong Project. I swear that's probably already a movie.
Hey, Shadek, the review guy. I don't think I know that guy, but welcome. Welcome. And Macrobella is a huge supporter of HorrorTube, and somebody I always love seeing. We'll try it.
Hey, there's Emma.
Yep.
Up your watch time.
Yeah, the watch time is going to be the main killer.
Yeah, I feel like that's fairly unfair.
So, Homicidal Homemaker said she is going to be doing a stream where she does games like she did today. Like, I think she said every week now, and that's going to really help get that watch time up. And it was just so much fun, so I think it's just wonderful for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
More interaction with her for us, and more watch time, for her channel.
I like watching her Slayaway Camp. It was fun. So I hope she keeps doing more games as well.
She's awesome, and yeah, I mean, just nice, talented, and a classy broad to boot. I can say classy broad because I'm a chick, but you can't because then you're sexist. I think. I don't know how that works.
I don't care if I'm sexist. She's classy broad.
She's classy broad.
She's top-notch dame, yo.
Yeah.
I threw all kinds
She's a
of like
damiest.
weird, timely culture sayings in that.
Well, a lot of times when people try to justify something, they say like, my best friend's, this thing that I just made a joke about. You're married to a woman, so I don't think you can be sexist, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
I know what's up.
I don't think the rules are that hard and fast.
I think they are, Brian. I think the times have changed since the 60s when you were running around watching nudie cutie movies.
Yeah, again, I was a
I'm fucking with you.
Not that old yet.
We know, Brian. We're just
It's
teasing, man.
nothing. Like you maybe were barely born in the 60s.
No, and by the way, that is one of the interesting, and not that I carry on about these things, why I find them so interesting. It's like movies like that in the 60s.
69
People
people
were-
watching, sorry.
The people were put in jail for those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Places that showed them were busted up. People used to run they'd run campaigns. Oh, Tracy just gave you something.
Thank you, Tracy. We
Aw.
love you.
You're the best, Tracy. Thank you so much.
Oh, I know what we'll do for her. So the T stands for
Terrific.
terrifically terrifying. It needs to be horror related.
Oh, okay. Terrifically terrifying.
Ravenously rad for R. A, awesome. C, cutie. E, E's are hard. We gotta do 2 E's. Guys, give us 2 E's in the chat.
Excellent.
Excellent and economical.
I don't know if she's really economical.
Thank you, Tracy.
But thank you, Tracy. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we're
What
trying to
was-
find something for the letter T. All I can think of is the Music Man song about pool,
I'm
which
just
I don't know
kinda,
if anyone's going to know, but I'm just going to throw it out there.
Nice.
I just kind of wish she had a D in her name.
But yeah, Brian, you're right. A lot of people did get like in trouble for that. I mean, even Betty Page like got hauled into the Supreme Court just for her pictures and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's kind of like it
they
was.
were they were thought of as real threatening, and nowadays you can see much worse on Game of Thrones or whatever you watch on
You can
HBO.
see much worse on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah, easily.
I mean, they don't allow a lot of nudity on YouTube, but I know that
YouTube.
YouTube, you can still find it. We have a teenage boy who's been looking up weird things lately, but I'm not gonna say exactly what. But
I think elegant was a good one, guys. I'm
Oh,
going
there
to
you
go with
go.
elegant,
Elegant.
and exciting. Elegant and effervescent. That's a great one, Diva Ducks.
mm,
I also, I didn't think a lot of you who have been watching and commenting, that is, if it wasn't for people doing that, this wouldn't work. So,
thanks, Jason.
thank you, Jason. That's Australian money.
Nice.
We can use that to buy some
Holy
Vegemite.
crap, Macrabella.
Oh, thank you, Macrabella. You guys are like making me blush. You guys are so sweet.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Okay.
just bowing.
Wait, we should make this different. Danny should have to take off a piece of clothes every time a dollar comes in.
Yes. Do it.
I don't know. Jack got in trouble for showing his nipples on Twitch. Will I get in trouble for showing
Maybe you
mine?
could do something with your hat.
The hat counts.
Oh my God, yes.
Smoke on the water. Come on. Give it to
Smoke on the water. Dongs are in the sky.
There we go.
Hey, we finally chased Tom Cruise out.
That was too much dong for
Gotta
him.
run literally.
I'm sure he's going to leave using the doggy door. It's so short.
He likes to watch our streams to make sure what we're saying about him, but he literally has to run like I think every 2 hours. It's in his contract or
But
something.
it keeps him in fantastic shape.
But he's the one who puts it in his contract. Yeah, that's why he still doesn't age much. I have to say that one thing about Tom Cruise is he doesn't look much different.
Jason Takes on Medical didn't get a chance to be on stream. Can we call him really quick?
Sure.
Jason, I'm gonna call you right now. I'm making it happen. Do what I want.
We do what we want.
Do what I want. Horror addicts do what I want. Jason, are you there?
Busy.
He's busy. He's busy.
All right, well, he's busy.
He's busy. Last dong on the left.
Well.
Oh, he's already
You know-
unmasked. I'm sorry, Jason. I would have added you in.
Sorry, buddy.
I'll answer Lillian's question there. No, I do play shooters every once in a while, but never online, and I mostly play Mario games, so
Hey,
sorry.
I love Mario games. Me and Lols plays Mario games all the time. Mario games are the best.
You know we're gonna regret half the things we've said when we're drunk and tired tomorrow.
I'm not like crying and blacked out on dirty martinis. One time I was in drag with Jacula and Jason, I believe.
I'm always embarrassed by how much I sing after a stream. Like, God, really? Really, Gory? Really?
I spit on your dong. Oh, too
I
I
can
much.
see
heard that
that.
one earlier. One of the streams earlier was like nothing but dongs. I think it was Laura's.
Ariel Laws is doing great. He's just downstairs, probably watching YouTube that isn't this.
I can see a lot in the chat. There's a lot of older 70s exploitation going by. I Spread Your Grave, Last House on the Left, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't get a lot of review love a lot of times.
Sadly.
I know Jacula and Horror Guru, I think, did a couple of them.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff doesn't get a lot of love. And again, it's one of those things where they're not going to draw on the views. If it's a new movie that's just come out, people are going to be searching for it, it's going to draw on the views. It's why people don't do that kind of stuff.
Well, we
But-
have had some older ones that have done well on views. What's really hard is a movie like I Spit on Your Grave, just the title of it is going to make it towards not monetized. Like, I reviewed Body Bags. No. I've appealed it so many times. There's no way that's going to get demonetized. Or remonetized.
Or... Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
he says Stranger Dongs. Also, good job, Dog. OCD Horror. That was amazing, and I loved it.
We salute your dongs.
Dongs
I
out for
had
OCD
to see
Horror.
that, by the way.
They really embraced the dongs. I didn't think this was gonna happen. It's like a whole new age.
So, Disney Zombies. I haven't even heard of this.
Disney zombies, that's a thing?
Ariel mentioned this in a different stream earlier.
Yeah, all the Elsas, that's a good one.
All the
And you don't have to put dongs in that. That just kind of counts automatically.
Yeah,
There's
I've
like
seen
3 Elsa
She
movies.
Wolf of the SSS movie. It's an interesting movie. I've seen it a couple of times. I watched it a long time ago, and I didn't really quite get it. And then I did this. I kind of got roped into doing a Nazi exploitation panel for Crypticon one time, so I watched it again to kind of get caught up on some Nazi exploitation. So.
Pizza Hut sounds amazing. What
It
happened?
is truly amazing how many Nazi exploitation films there are.
Oh yeah.
You were on a
It-
panel
it's
about
relatively
Nazi
relatively
exploitation.
That's what I was just
shocking.
telling him. I had to catch up. That's why I rewatched. That was the last time I watched Ursula the SS. She Wolf. I like how the guy that can finally satisfy her he's half German, but he's half American, and that's what it takes. American blood in the veins of his
Yeah.
dong to please this crazy German woman. And she thinks like her superior officers and the Nazis are gonna satisfy her, but they just want to like crawl on all four and have her pee on her, and it just disgusts her.
Oh, Caleb, you beat me to it. I was just gonna say, let the right dong in. That's a good one.
No, but the Elsas did so well. There was actually rip-off Elsa films.
Yeah, there's some like really low budget rip-off ones.
Still not as scary as the Elsa films on YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't look it up.
With Spider-Man.
Yes.
You know what? Those Elsa films on YouTube, that is one of the big reasons for this change. Not
Absolutely.
Logan Paul, whatever
We
his
can,
name was.
Fake actors.
We
Those
can blame
are
most
really-
of the problems.
Yeah, why
for that.
this was done.
And
Which is really gross because it's targeting kids, who just have the iPad or the television popped in front of them. But
Mhm.
I just don't understand why you would do that. Why you would make that kind of content. Obviously, it's not like what a lot of the creators we know. People in the chat here are like Almost Sideways, Carnage Candy, who are reviewing things that they love and who are talking about things they're passionate about. They're just I don't understand that.
Horror is getting looped in with these people who are just first of all ripping off infringement of copyright and then just doing it grossly, targeting towards children and stuff, and they should be punished. I agree. That shit should be like kind of taken off. There's other ones too. There's cartoons, like there's these rip-offs where they blatantly are Mickey Mouse and Goofy and stuff. We've seen some of those ones where,
Yeah.
but then they're like very perverted and stuff. It's like you don't even care. Like they're probably
It's
made in
real-
some
well,
weird country, but
It's made to be outrageous. It's made to pull in kids who don't know any better, who just search for it. And then after that, it becomes, oh, have you seen this? And then it goes viral, and they get a million other hits. And the whole point of this watch time is just to try to make it so you can't start a channel that fast.
Yeah.
So if you do pull in the hits, you can't get the money. But it sucks because killer sorority dongs at the Slimorama. That's hard to say.
I like
Oh,
it.
the Bolorama.
Snoop Dogg, yeah, dong.
Snoop Doggy Dog. Oh,
It is
man.
hot.
Yeah, it is. Open the window. Thunder Dong. 2 dongs enter, only 1 dong leaves.
Oh my god, who said that?
Well, I added that part, but they wrote Thunder Dongs.
I love that.
It was Sean. 2 dogs. 2 dongs.
Getting donkey with it. Dong, 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 dong.
That's like, sounds like a really
Dong, 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 dong. Getting donkey with it. Nice
nasty,
one, Beth.
like a nasty double penetration porno.
Yeah, the love of the dongs. Like, they've really embraced the dongs, and it's kind of freaking me out because I've always gotten so much flack for talking about dongs in streams. And now it's like, it's like, they get it, dude. My heart grew 3 sizes.
Oh, and by the way, not for kids. There we go.
Yes.
Dong talk is adult time.
Yes. It's grown-up time now. Okay.
Dongula.
Okay, so we've seen Star Trek and James Bond dong films.
Those
We're
movies
way outside of horror now.
Yeah, but those titles for James Bond and Star Trek have just always been ripe for parody. Like, I mean, one of them you don't even have to change. I just
By the
love
way,
it.
that's a good question. Speaking of James Bond, who's seen now I've forgotten the Live and Let Die.
Live and Let
The
Die.
one horror entry.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
Well,
that.
actually, no. It was
If it ain't Moonraker, it ain't
exploitation
worth
at the time,
I'm kidding.
but they added horror into it.
Yeah, that's the more.
That was always my favorite. I love that one.
This is the most horror one. They also had the one that's basically a Star Wars ripoff.
I love that one.
Yeah, Moonraker.
Yeah, where they it was basically Star Wars because Star Wars just blew up and got big. So
Sean and Beth just got a jinx.
I've always kind of been fond of Octopussy, but that's just me. That one, you didn't even have to change the title. It's just already what it is.
Dong and style. Oh my god, I want to see one of those Jaw-style shirts that says Dong on
It
it.
has like a penis under the
People
water.
who are good at drawing make these things happen.
It's got Gory swimming at the top of the water.
No.
You know, when I was a kid on the school bus, I once, as a joke, drew a dong and turned it into a character where the testicles were eyes and it had whatever. He had a name. The school bus driver was not very enthused about my character. Let's put it that way.
It's kind of like Superbad then, just not as excessive.
I get you, Brian. You're accepted here.
Actually, I did the same thing. There was this one game called Drawn to Life. I think it's kind of a kid's game, but whatever. I had it. I've never let my kid play my version of it because of my saved title. I think it's still on there. But you draw your own character, and then they run around through this little, whatever, platform layer and stuff. And I just drew a dong. It had testicles for feet, and it moved around. And had its hands weren't attached, but it had just gloves that floated around as its hands.
Isabel, 10 things I hate about dong. I'm gonna toss in the Empire Strikes dongs.
Empire Strikes Dongs. Return of the Dong. All dongs go to heaven.
Oh, that's a good one. We are really fucking tired.
Oh yeah, but they seem to be enjoying it. And hopefully...
So I noticed Homicidal Homemaker and Laura also did Mad Libs today.
Mhm.
One of these days I'm going to have to ask you guys to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer Mad Libs with us.
Oh, you're gonna have to bust that out on one of your ghouls
I
nights
know,
out.
I'm going to do it on the next Ghouls Night Out I will, because I haven't had anyone to play this with me.
There you go. Buffy. I love me some Buffy.
Yes.
Oh, I need to set up the cardboard Buffy downstairs in my office.
Oh yeah, you do.
I have a cardboard cutout of Buffy. I don't know if
The
any-
Dongsercist. Caleb, you were on frickin' fire tonight, my friend. Caleb's a funny guy. Caleb needs to make some videos.
Dongs 2, the new sack.
Okay, so Matt, with your Buffy the Dong Slayer, I would lay money that's already been done.
Oh yeah.
No, but Muffy
Probably not the word dong.
There is a
Muffy the Vampire Layer has been.
yeah, but there probably is that too. there's 3 different Ninja Turtle porns. I'm sure there's more than one Buffy porn. Oh,
Remember the American Werewolf in London porn we watched?
that is awesome, and we almost forgot we were watching a porn because we're watching the American London Werewolf porn. but it's such a high production value for a porn. Like, it's still low. Like, I thought I was watching
The
like
acting was good.
the
Everything.
acting is good, but I was watching like a low budget remake of the movie. It seemed like, and it takes about 30 minutes before you even have a sex scene. Like, they get attacked by a werewolf. It looked pretty good, not as good as the original, but just slightly less in everything that they did. Just slightly less. They went to the bar. They went everything. He died. It waits till the part where the Nazi ghouls that he has a dream murders his family. That part finally happens, and then the Nazis like stand up and they rip off their masks and they're like these. Well, no, they keep the masks on, but they stand up and they're naked hot chicks that you didn't like quite see. Like the camera pans down, and then he starts banging them like with his dead family like in the background.
It gives you a very confusing boner.
Yes, that's it went about 30 minutes in before there was a sex scene. I forgot we even put in like a porno. I was just like, oh, this is a fun like fanfic film remake.
It was really high production value. Lillian Dahmer has been asking this all night, and I need to respond to her because she did it in Fedora's chat, and nobody responds to her. Yes, I have seen Martyrs. Martyrs is one of my favorite films, the original French version. The remake is terrible. And also, Pascal Laguerre, I can't pronounce his name, terrible, and I'm also tired. But he has a new movie out this year. I think it's called... it's Ghost something. I keep forgetting the full title of it, but look it up. He's got a new movie out this year, and there's a trailer out. So he's been working on that for a really long time, and I love Martyrs so much that I'm really excited about it.
Martyrs is amazing. Ash versus the Evil Dong. Well, Ash is getting up there in age, so he probably battles his evil dong problems with a blue pill.
Seed of Dong, Kelly.
Brian, if you were given the chance to remake any movie, what would it be? Would it be Killer Tomatoes? Or would you remake something else?
No, I feel that movie's perfect. If I was to remake a movie, I don't think I would, because any movie that I like enough to remake, I feel a kinship to.
Is there any that you thought like was a good idea but was not pulled off well?
Oh, really quick, I just want to say, yes, Monty, that's it, Ghost House. Thank you so much for reminding me. My brain is just a total blank right now. But yes, Ghost House. Guys, look up the trailer for that. It looks really good. We're going to have a most anticipated of 2018 coming out soon. We got really behind in our videos trying to get the crawl ready. But we still are going to do our best of 2017, and we're going to do our most anticipated 2018. So that's going to be first priority.
Tomorrow.
After we've slept.
Yeah. When we wake up, we will film those.
Well, and we
get
have
those up.
our Patreon stream tomorrow, and then we also have our wrap-up video stream tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then...
No, on my channel, I got to eat a spicy
editing.
pickle. Put that up.
I think for your wrap-up video, you guys should stay up for another 24 hours after this one.
And rap.
Just to see how insane you are by that time.
You're
It'll be all like gibberish.
Are you down, Brian? Are you going to stay with us this
No.
24 hours?
Oh my god, there were some streams where I like had to catch myself and the only reason I woke up is because the drool like hit my chest. I'm like, what? Yeah, oh yeah, what's going on?
And it's not because the streams were not awesome. They all
No, they
were.
were
So
amazing.
Dr.
I
Metal
was tired.
I missed...
So Doc is talking about remaking Plan 9. I actually think somebody did.
They
did.
It has an angry video game nerd in it, James.
Yeah, he's in it. James Rolfe.
He's actually the best part of it. It's not that good.
I think that's the way to go. I think you should take films that maybe had a great idea, but maybe not the best execution, and remake those films as opposed to movies where the producers are like, well, this movie did really well, let's remake it. I mean, if it's already good, I don't think it necessarily needs to be remade, but there are some really great ideas out there that maybe could benefit from a higher budget and some new, people behind it.
Yeah.
By the way, if you really like watching things like Plan 9 from Outer Space, and I've talked about this movie before, it's a low budget film, but it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
There's a film called The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. It is a pitch perfect parody of 50s films. None of it's a joke. There's no joke or setup. The whole comedy comes from it hitting so close to those bad films. And it is truly one of the funniest films I've seen.
Wow.
Look it up if you get a chance. The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. It's just a great
I
film.
haven't seen it, so I'm going to definitely check into that.
And I also, because I still have to finish my punishment for not finishing Shocktober, I have to review Plan 9 from Outer Space, so all these things are going to be
I don't think that's a punishment, though. I like that movie.
Well, that's what I got on the Wheel of Death. We have a Wheel of Death of movies that people have told us are terrible that we have to spin and then review.
I have one too, but I'm waiting for you to do yours. So
Alrighty.
mine. Boo, the Medea Halloween.
To MacLeod, Capital's got a great remake, but I Walked with a Zombie would be a good one.
Like, I'm not having a problem reviewing it and telling everybody how crap it is. I have a problem that I have to watch it probably a few times to edit it and all that stuff. So.
Lily, yes, I have seen Let Me Make You a Martyr with Marilyn Manson in it. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Don't
one
worry,
of the things,
girl,
by the way,
I
that I
agree.
think that's interesting between Plan 9 and the one you have to watch, which is a Medea Christmas. Plan 9 is actually entertaining.
Yes.
It's fun to watch.
It
There's
is.
nothing good about Medea Halloween.
Yeah, that's the thing. There are bad films and there are very entertaining bad films. Medea would just be boring.
Which is a shame in a sense, because I've seen Tyler Perry in certain movies like Gone
Gone
Girl,
Girl,
where
he's
he is a
fantastic.
great actor in a lot of
I
ways.
also didn't know that he's really good looking, but you would never know with him dressed up like Medea.
No. He's not as good looking as you think he is either, though.
Okay, he's not as good looking as he thinks he is, but he's better looking than I thought he was dressed as an old woman.
I'll give you a small spoiler of my review partly is the first 5 minutes of the Medea Boo movie, he not as Medea character, but is just Tyler Perry. I don't know what his name is, but he just looks like Tyler Perry. He plays like 3 or 4 people in the movie. But his normal looking character walks by. He walks by these 2 teenage girls, and they get all quivered in the knees for him, and one goes, "He's so hot." And then that's it. But there's no reason for it. He just, as the writer and director, put that in his movie, that these teenager girls swoon over him, and that is like the biggest douchiest thing he could do.
This has kind of.
By the way, in the chat, Steven says Manos, which actually Manos has a relatively decent plot to it.
It does.
It does.
It could be made into a
It has
very
a cult
interesting
following.
film.
It actually might be getting a sequel. Plus, I am right now I'm probably gonna be reviewing I Met Her, and I'm reading the book right now, Growing Up with Manos, The Hands of Fate. It's about the little girl, and it's about her life. It's her whole life story basically, and how that movie really affected her and her family. So.
And there's also Manos, The Hands of Felt, the puppet version that she worked on.
Yep.
Yes. So. But yeah, Manos is one of those things where they had a good idea. It just.
Yeah, Dracula's Daughter. That's one of the Universal films that is not all that good. One of the early ones.
Yeah.
That could stand to be remade.
That was Billy.
But then
Murphy.
again, but the thing that worries me about everything is like haunted house pictures. My favorite haunted house picture is Robert Weiss's The Haunting.
Okay. Yeah.
I love that thing more than anything. They remade it in like the 90s, I think, and it is atrocious. It is terrifyingly bad,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I still want them to touch anything at this point.
No.
I mean, it's
Sometimes
90 minutes of rubbery special effects.
Sometimes
When
I kind
the
of get.
previous film was all about menace and terror that you never really saw.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I
But
kind of
again,
get
modern audiences probably would hate the original.
probably, sadly. Sometimes I kind of get a reboot if like it's just so outdated to like where a modern audience can't relate to it at all, or if it's like a foreign film and they just can't relate because it's not Americanized a little bit. But
Also,
it
with
doesn't
a
mean
lot
it's
of
going to be good.
a lot of movies, older movies, and especially the 90s especially. God, the censors went nuts in the 90s. So many 90s movies could have been so much better if they were not so neutered. There's a lot of movies from the 90s that I think could get a remake, like, The Dentist would be kind of cool. I still think The Dentist is creepy. And as far as older movies that horror wasn't quite as visceral when these movies were made, one of my favorite movies is The Bad Seed. And, I love the original Fly, but they made a good remake where they took that story and they added a lot of gore and effects. And I think you could do something like that with The Bad Seed. I will still love the original, but I would love to see a really bloody, grisly version of The Bad Seed.
Yeah, The Fly and The Thing are good examples about how a reboot can be done well, but.
But remember, they did vast changes in both those.
Yeah.
In the original Fly, it was about 2 creatures.
Mm-hmm.
In the remake, it was 1 creature.
Yeah.
And the same thing with The Thing. The Thing is vastly different. I actually like the original Thing, too. It's just they did enough to change the story to make it something new and unique out of it, instead of just retreading it.
The only thing
And-
about the
Oh, go
original,
on.
And yet you can tell that he had a lot of love for the original.
Oh, yeah.
It actually is one of his favorite horror films.
Mm-hmm. He really wanted to reboot because that's why you even see the original in like Halloween. That's what they're watching.
Mm-hmm.
He loved that movie. And that's another thing. If someone's good, like, if they have a mad love for it and respect, then I like it when they make sequels and reboots. I hate it when someone makes a sequel to a movie and they haven't even watched any of the franchise.
I'm also very excited about book adaptations. We just saw The Ritual, which was really good. It's a book adaptation from Adam Neville. And I know they're in the process of making Stephen King's Rose Matter, which is a fantastic book. And so, I just feel like a lot of people just are not that interested in reading. And movies introduce a new audience to these wonderful stories.
Brian, have you seen any 2018 horror films yet?
No, I mean, I barely get out of the house. This is where I live.
And it's awesome. And you've done something with your wall. I appreciate that.
Yes, I tried to do something interesting today.
Brian's house is completely interesting, except for usually the wall behind him.
Well, it's the computer face. I want to look at the cool stuff, which is this way.
I know.
So the computer face is this way.
I've seen just from just little skits and stuff and things, like your mad collection of awesome stuff that you have. So
Yeah, I have a lot of toys.
yeah, me too.
I am a very repressed childhood.
Same here.
You guys talk for a second.
Brian's got mad He-Man toys. I got like lots of Ninja Turtles, Ghostbuster action figures. I gave most of them to Lols, but I still have some.
No, keep them in the package.
No. I've never been that kind of guy. I don't know why.
No, I've never been that way either. I don't like packaged toys. I just like to have things that I had when I was young and just have them on display. I don't need them packaged and kept forever. It's not the way toys should be.
I don't get the point of just looking at it. It'd be like living in a store being told I can't touch. It's like, but whatever. And I don't plan to sell them. They're just for my my enjoyment. They're my value of what I place on them.
I lost my cape.
You lost your
running out of
cape?
hats.
Oh, cool. You got your guitar.
Nice.
I'm going to make noise.
Maybe Jason wants to like jam with you someday, or like come up with some sort of song with you.
Canadian Jason?
Yeah, Zach Bird. He was in here earlier as Crow Feather Productions. He wants to work with you musically sometime.
Well, everyone knows where I am. Just send me a direct message.
All right, I'll have him do that.
I was doing stuff today for folks.
Maybe I'll even sing for you guys. No.
Nice.
Sure, that'd just ruin whatever they made. Oh.
What's going on in...
What kind of axe you got there?
Killer Cake.
Killer.
We're outside of Dong Films now.
Midnight Meat, Dom. I don't know. Annihilation might be okay. I don't look like as a.
I watched the trailer earlier with Movie Boy. It doesn't look too bad. It looks like it has kind of a Stranger Things vibe to it.
Kind of a Mist, Stranger Things thing going on. And, the Mist was great, and so Stranger Things. So it might be okay. I don't know.
Yes. By the way, speaking of the Mist and speaking of Carpenter, a lot of Carpenter films, I was meant to say this earlier in the thing, are basic remakes of other films, like, Assault on Precinct 138. What is that? One of his
13?
first one.
Yeah. Assault on
Yeah, it's a remake of, Rio Bravo, I think.
Oh, is it? That makes sense.
It's a remake of one of those. I mean, it's a siege film.
Yeah.
But the one Carpenter film that still, to this day, I have never liked, and I've never gotten why, as many times as I've watched it, I just can't get into The Fog.
Yeah.
I like The Fog.
I really hated the remake. The original was probably one of my weaker Carpenter films, but I still like it.
It is, and it's weird. I mean, I've nenever figured out why. Oh, Nightmare Maven is leaving us.
Night Maven,
Night
thank
Maven, you were such a trooper today. Thank you so much.
Yes, dong 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 dong. It's the dong song.
May you dream of big dongs.
They don't have to be big, all right? We love all dongs.
All right, well, big cozy dongs to cuddle.
Cozy? I don't think anyone in the history of the world has ever referred to dongs as cozy.
If they were
I
big
mean,
enough, you could
maybe.
cuddle them like a body pillow, I'm
A
imagining.
Wookiee dong would probably be cozy.
Wookiee dong is probably very cozy.
Or would it be like one of those like doggy lipstick dongs?
Ew.
I don't know.
Actually,
I've never seen one.
He doesn't wear pants.
Yeah, Ghost of Mars isn't very good either, but
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much from Carpenter at that point.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, not everything that Carpenter or, Wes Craven or anybody, George A. Romero, not everything they had to make was a perfect gem.
But that's with any creator, any author. Not every single one of their books is going to be your favorite book.
Exactly.
Not every movie maker is going to make your favorite movie time after time. Even with content creators here on YouTube, not every single video is going to be your favorite. But the point is that you're continuing creating.
Exactly. And they took chances. They took risks. They also sometimes got screwed over by studios, and it's not always their fault and everybody else.
Don't play it safe.
Take
risks and keep creating.
It was like with Prince of Darkness, he did that because the studio meddled too much with Big Trouble in Little China.
He did it himself because he didn't want the studio involved.
It's too much. I
do love Prince of Darkness.
So sometimes you just got to make too many people happy just to make a movie, and then it doesn't make anybody happy at the end, and that's just sucks. Studio meddling sucks. But that's how it goes. I don't want to dishing out all the cash, I guess. The Mouth of Madness. Thoughts?
It's weird.
I'd like to review that soon. I've been doing a lot of Carpenter lately, so I'd like to do that one soon. It's part of that trilogy with Prince of Darkness and The Thing, so it'd be fun to do all three of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already done Prince of Darkness with the other two.
Yeah.
I can't think of right now a movie but I do know there are movies for sure where the studio has meddled and actually made them better. It does happen.
It does sometimes.
Halloween 6 is kind of a mess, but there are parts of the studio metal one that are better. There are parts of the original one that are better.
I don't like
Somewhere in there might be a good movie. Neither one of them is really good.
The only thing I can ever get into my head on the producer's cut is, please, no, Uncle Michael.
No. Yeah, that's one of the bad parts of it, but I like that we get more done on Pleasance than the producer's cut. I mean, there's good and bad things about both versions, but...
Her death. And
What do you think about Army of Darkness, which had studio meddling at the end?
Oh, yeah, actually, they did have a better ending, I believe. I
agree with that.
The ending in Army of Darkness was better because of their meddling.
I agree with that, yeah. I think that the ending is a lot more solid, and with it leaving it open for another sequel when we don't know that the next one would have been any good or if it would have ever even been made.
Sometimes not just the studio, but sometimes a little preview testing helps endings too.
And I would have hated to see the franchise end on the cliffhanger.
So
it's weird because I'm of two minds of that. The ending that the studio mandated is a much better ending, is that people remember it and it has lines in it that people remember. It ends on a high note. The original ending ends on a very low note, but then again, that's the character. Throughout the entire movie, the character is a screw-up.
Yeah.
He basically wins, he lucks out in everything that he wins in. He's a complete screw-up. And that solidifies it at the end, so it's hard to really say. I think most people would like the studio ending better. But I think it makes a more statement, the original ending. Because, I mean, that's the way Ash is. He's a jerk who doesn't think a plan ahead, and he screws up constantly. And he's self-centered. And he screws up again at the very end.
The only problem with that end is it is too much the end. Like, there's nothing really that can be done at that point. He's gone past where humans are dead, and, it's just the worlds have fallen apart. And it's it's good for what it says about his character, but at the same time, it's just it's abrupt end, and it's but we want more of that character, and the other one provides that. I also honestly though, both endings do count as canon, because the way that Ash is there are multiple Ashes. He's been throughout. There's one of them got killed by a zombie Howard the Duck at one point. Ash, there are different Ashes in different time, because that's what they do. He always travels through the book and stuff. That there are a bunch of him technically. We follow
Which is
the
why
main
the
one.
remake works, because you see the Oldsmobile, and so you can see how it connects to those other universes, those
Yeah.
other dimensions.
Yeah, that one, like, there isn't an Ash, but there still is. It's a multiverse type theory, I guess, which a lot of...
You dig on multiverses?
Yeah, I dig on multiverses. Almost everybody digs on a goddamn multiverse theory, because there's money in multiverses. Marvel, DC, everything has multiverse. But yeah, there's a multiverse for Ash as well, and they have said that, yes, they are both technically canon. They're just different Ashes had different outcomes. So, there you go.
Yeah, and multiverses are basically the easiest way to write stories.
Yes,
Sci-fi, anything else, you need to do a slight change. Multiverse does that.
Star Trek has multiverse now. That's how they rebooted their stuff without getting rid of the old stuff. They just rebooted it with the multiverse. There you go.
I thought that was clever. I actually like that idea.
And
we just lost Gory, didn't we?
Oh, sorry.
Star Trek has also used like Q, to like fix those little things, like change things, the what if scenarios, and like, haha, tricked you. That's not. We're gonna erase time now, but whatever. So there's always that way of writing in there, and a lot of that will come from a lot of TV writing. And Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi have always admitted that they have kind of always been TV writers more at heart. It's like just from Xena and Hercules and stuff. That they always try to write TV as movies, but they always try to write movies as TV, if that makes sense. Just, I don't know.
Well, there's a lot. All those guys were, long before they were horror fans, were a big Three Stooges fan.
Oh, yes, huge Stooges.
Which you can see translates into most of the stuff that they did.
They didn't even actually set out to become horror-like icons. That just was like one of the easier routes. They always wanted to just make movies, and horror and action always got like mad pops. When they were making their old 8mm films that they were showing everybody, like all their friends stuff, like Ash, as a young person, Bruce, would throw himself from a moving vehicle, and it would hurt, but he was young enough to get up from it, and everybody'd go crazy, like, oh my god. So they're like, okay, well, we need more of that in our movies, and then they needed, one time they had blood, and like, oh, well, we need more of that in our movies, and it just kind of got out of control, and then they started making In the Woods, and then that turned into Evil Dead, and there you go.
There's a really great film, and it's not a horror film, so I don't know how much it will, people in this community might like it, because it does move slow. There's a documentary called An American Movie. It's about this guy. Huh?
James Rolfe really recommends it a lot over on Cinemassacre.
Yeah, it's about a guy
but it's good.
who lives in like Minnesota or Wisconsin, I can't remember, and he wants to make a movie called, I think, The Northwesterner, which is about his life. But he doesn't have the money for it. He has like a stoner friend. And basically, it's this documentary about these two guys. And so they're making a movie called Coven, but they pronounce it differently. They pronounce it, or Coven. And it's all about making this movie so they can make enough money to make the grand movie he wants to make. It's just a really interesting thing about just these two super low-budget filmmakers who realize that making a horror movie is the easiest way into making some money.
Yeah, it's been a route for a lot of people, honestly.
It's exciting now that we're in an age, though, where right now there's, like, A-listers who are getting involved in horror, like Helen Mirren, Natalie Portman. Well, I think Get Out being nominated for an Oscar had a big part in that.
That and it doing so well in the box office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oscars are a big inspiration, but money is what really talks, so those both did really well in the theater.
Yeah, and that's exciting for horror, because I think horror, at the moment, is not seen by as many people to be a lesser genre, like the only problem is we're going to have to deal with those mainstreamers coming in pretending they liked horror the whole time. And, oh, yeah. Yeah, sure you did. Uh-huh.
No, I'm just talking. But, no.
But that's actually one thing that's kind of decent, because a lot of times people that are in the horror community, their whole life they've absorbed horror. And so what they end up doing eventually is absorbing cliches.
Mm-hmm. So.
And one of the things why sci-fi got really bad for a while is because all the new sci-fi writers only watched other sci-fi. When at the beginning, a lot of the people that were sci-fi writers read all sorts of other literature. So, I mean, interesting. Having new blood is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Dad's Twitch mentioned, like, a lot of actors started in horror. Like, there's Meg Ryan, who's in Amityville 3. But it used to be that this was something that you were embarrassed in. Like, people who were involved in the burning. I can't remember the name of the one actress who like refuses to have it on her resume. But yeah, it was kind of an embarrassment. And now we have people who actually want to be in horror, and I guess that's what I mean by the times are kind of changing.
Leprechaun, starring Jennifer Aniston's original nose.
Exactly.
That's the most famous one where somebody. Well, what was it? I thought Tom Hanks was had a bit part in a really bad horror film.
He was in Maze and Monsters, which isn't really horror, but
Eric's from Death Wish says he was in a movie called He Knows You're Alone.
Yeah. Tom Hanks was in The Burbs, which I love. That's not a horror, but it's close.
His son Colin Hanks was in a stalker movie.
Yeah, the lottery ticket or whatever. The one where he's
in another one too. It's like the one where he's stalking the girl.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
There's the one where he kills the girl and she had a winning lottery ticket, so he cashes it in and then he gets
Holly
rich.
Hunter. There we go. From Burning. It just came to me.
Yeah, that's right. Clooney was in Return of the Killer Tomatoes, which is a great film, and Return to Horror High, which is a terrible film.
He didn't even finish filming that one. That one they find out that all the deaths were fake, and they accept there is a real killer at the end. It's a secret extra twist. Sorry to spoil that, but yeah, everybody finds out that nobody's dead except for George Clooney's not in the end. So I guess he did die, but that's just because he couldn't finish filming it. He had to leave to go film for Roseanne because he was going to be her boss on her show or something for one season. I don't know. He had a mullet back then.
What movie was Demi Moore in?
Demi Moore.
She's in Seventh Seal.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't remember that.
I think she was in something else too.
Other stuff, I'm sure. That's one of the first one that comes to mind.
But yeah, a lot of people start in horror, and sadly, some people fall into horror when their career is dying, I guess. But I don't like to look at it that way.
Ryan Reynolds was in a really shitty Frankenstein's monster type movie. I think it's called Boltman or something.
But recently he did the voices, and that was perfect.
Oh yeah, the voices was fantastic.
So,
The Seventh Son. There you go, Eric.
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio's in Critters 3. So there you go.
Oh yeah, Johnny Depp. Let's not forget that.
Letterbox.
I think Depp was already on 21 Jump Street at that point, wasn't he?
I think so. Close to it.
From Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think he had just started. The only reason he got the job in A Nightmare on Elm Street, though, is because Wes Craven's daughter said that he was cute. And he's like, all right.
That's what I'm looking for.
It was a good pick. He did a good job in the film.
Well, that's a main reason why, why is the name escaping me right now? Dr. Loomis did Halloween.
Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance, yes. I knew it wasn't Sutherland. I'm like, not Donald Sutherland. Not Donald. Who was it?
Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, Pleasance. He did Halloween because his daughter thought that Precinct 13 was really radical, and that he definitely needs to do one of his movies because he's going to be the upcoming director, which he was.
He really is. So she was right.
Yeah.
But remember, Pleasance stars in back at that time, starred in 200 movies a year.
Yeah.
He's in about everything.
But he told him that is why I'm in your movie. My daughter says that your precinct was good enough and radical in her words, and I need to get on this hip
And
trend.
in the commentary for their first Halloween, I guess initially they didn't spend a lot of time together, and so it was kind of whoa, he's this big star. And it was a bit uncomfortable, but by the end of that movie, and certainly by Halloween 2, they had a wonderful working relationship together and became really good friends.
Oh yeah, definitely. It did not take long for them to click. Might have started off on the first shaky meeting, but by the time the movie was out, they were good friends. You'd be surprised at how many actors take parts and just because of their kids say to do it.
Yeah, actually, I hear that in a lot of commentaries. I love commentaries. I mean, if you guys want to free film school, the price of a Blu-ray, you'll learn a lot from listening to the commentaries of movies.
Well, directors Adam Green and Joe Lynch said that you'll probably get just as much money watching the commentaries on DVDs and Blu-rays than you would by paying to go to film school.
Yeah.
So.
There's also tons of bootleg commentaries out there. I can't remember what site it was, but there's two. The cast of Fright Night was upset that they were never asked to do a commentary, and I found two of them. I can't remember the name of the site off the top of my head, but it's really cool. A lot of them have actually gone out and made their own commentaries that you can download from the internet for free.
Yeah. Meatloaf only did the Tenacious D movie because his kids begged him to. He read the script and goes, I don't want to sing anymore, I'm an actor now. And then they're like, you have to do the Tenacious D movie, you have to. And he's like, fine. But then he had a great time doing it. So.
Whoa, Mr. Black Pasta's here.
Nice.
Mr. Black Pasta is like a big deal, dude. He's on Scream Radio, and he has a really good channel. He's pretty cool.
Who is he asking was in Leprechaun? Jennifer Aniston?
Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah. She, you might not recognize her. It was before she had her nose job.
Demi Moore apparently was in Parasite, according to Macrobella.
Oh,
that sounds familiar.
Seth Green and Carlton from The Fresh Prince were in Ticks.
Yep.
And a more important thing, too, many big directors were Roger Corman assistants or became directors later.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of
a lot of those films had people that become big.
Yeah, they did.
Coppola was one of them. Demi was.
Yeah.
I think guy who did Titanic and Terminator.
Cameron?
Come on. Yeah, Cameron. I think Cameron was too.
And he started.
I love Phenomena. That's a really good film.
I love that one
That's
too.
a really interesting film.
I was going to say a lot of mainstream film goers don't even know that. God, I totally just drew a total blank. What is wrong with my brain?
Same here.
Piranha 2. Lord of the Rings.
King Kong.
King Kong.
I know what you're talking about.
I had it.
The director, the guy who did Gremlins.
No,
Demi,
Dante.
No, did Lord of the Rings. Directed Lord of the Rings.
My brain is so
Not
broken.
James Cameron. It's
Oh, you're killing me. The guy who did Brain Dead and Meet the Feebles.
Meet the Feebles.
Well, what I was going to say is a lot of them don't know.
Jackson, Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
Oh,
he had
Jesus Christ.
Huge start in horror before, he got into Lord of the Rings and King Kong and all of that. So.
I love his old obscure horror movies. Meet the Feebles is one of my favorites.
In fact, I remember when Cabin Fever came out, one of the big reasons I was excited for is Peter Jackson was heralding it was going to be one of the best horror movies, in the decade. And at the time, this was before Lord of the Rings and such, so it was like, whoa, Peter Jackson gives it his seal of approval. It must be good.
Brian, have you seen...
He did some really interesting stuff. Bad Taste is someone just mentioned Bad Taste. Bad Taste is interesting. It's obviously super low budget, and the script's a little antsy at places, but you can see him building from that, and then I think Meet the Feebles was next, and then it was Brain Dead, which is probably just one of the best zombie films out there.
Brain Dead is amazing.
I love Brain Dead.
One of the goriest.
And if you're going to be watching Brain Dead, please check out the Homicidal Homemaker. She will tell you how to make the Brain Dead custard.
Which looks absolutely vile, but I imagine tastes amazing because
I want her
she
to
knows
make
how
a
to
brain
cook.
damage blue slushy.
I tried to make that Jason Voorhees cake that she made for you that one time.
Yeah,
it tasted good. It looked like my version looked like crap.
It looked not.
So Lillian's asking about Tales from the Crypt, which I assume most of us have seen.
Oh yeah,
I am a big comic fan, and I am a big comic fan of Pre-Code, which is where EC Comics came from, which eventually became Mad. But that's where all those Tales from the Crypt come from. So I actually had read all the stories long before that became a show. I'm not a big fan of it because they did a bunch of changes, but it's an interesting show. I mean, it brought a lot to TV. It brought horror out a lot, I think. Tales from the Crypt certainly did.
The last season, and don't take this in a bad way, was maybe a little too British, though.
What you saying?
You agreed with me. You're actually the one who pointed this out. You just weren't feeling that last season.
Yeah, but don't embarrass me in front of my fellow Brits like Random Ross.
The last season, I don't know. It was a lot different, and it was less scary for some reason. Except for it randomly has that animated Three Little Pigs episode in it.
That was a good one. It's just it was a little lackluster compared to previous seasons.
It got kind of dry, I guess. But I like Tales from the Crypt. Even that season, I still like it a lot. But
yeah, I saw the reboot of Prom Night.
I'm not a big fan of Prom Night. Guys, I want to say this really quick. Shudder, it's basically Netflix of horror.
Mm-hmm.
They are toying with the idea of bringing back Monster Vision. Those of you who were fans of Monster Vision in the 90s, it was a horror-hosted show by Joe Bob Briggs where he'd sit outside the trailer and he would review movies and he would give us, the drive-in totals, which were fantastic. But they're toying with the idea of bringing him back, and what they want right now is video testimonials, and you can send those to their website or their Twitter. So that's something we're going to be doing here soon, and I would love it if you guys who are also Monster Vision fans would do the same, because It would be amazing to have new episodes of Monster Vision. Brian, you should do that.
Yeah, make a video testimonial.
I'm sure Screaming Soup has probably sent in 62 of them at this point.
They probably did it with every character that they've ever drawn.
Probably.
I hope so.
Well, that's the next thing I want to do to help the community is, and for me, because I'm part of this community, so I want myself some more Monster Vision. So I'm going to send in to a testimonial from us. We'll post it on YouTube. But I would love it if you guys would as well.
Oh, Zach
that's one thing that's really sad is that we don't have that kind of stuff. Because of the internet and all the channels, it seems like we should have more stuff, but we seem to have less and less different stuff and more plastic stuff. I mean, USA Up All Night and TNT and all the stuff that was showing Monster Vision, they were just full of crazy shows with crazy hosts, just showing old cartoons or old movies or whatnot. And you don't have that anymore. Everything is pretty much prepackaged, and it is sort of sad at a time.
Like, if Pee-wee did his Playhouse nowadays, he wouldn't be showing those old, crazy, like, obscure cartoons like he used to. Like, they would have to make it tie in with some sort of deal to show some modern cartoon that everybody knows about.
If we get Monster Vision back, it'd be wonderful if they could also incorporate Penn and Teller, who originally started Monster Vision on TNT. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I was a goth kid in high school. I didn't have a lot of friends, so my Saturday nights were spent with Joe Bob at home in front of the television. I would watch that until it was over. I would watch some Gilbert Gottfried on USA's Up all night.
And what's her name?
And then I would watch Nick at Night, like back when it still showed Dragnet and not Full House, and Bewitched and that until dawn. That was my weekend, and I missed that. I loved that because that was, it was just like how you guys here in the horror community make me feel like I'm a part of something. Watching Joe Bob Briggs, it made me feel like I was part of this horror community before we even had the internet.
Remember the guy that was my horror host, Svengoolie out of Chicago?
Wonderful.
Still has a show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still has a show. And his show is still as corny as it ever was, and that's all you'd ever want out of one of those.
Guess who has a YouTube channel? Do you remember Dr. Gangrene?
All of them. Heck, Dr. Gangrene, what's his name? Okay, most of them have. Ivana Cadaver still has a channel. What's her name? I can't remember all their names, but yeah, there's like one guy that's even took over for another horror host that has a channel.
Yeah, I saw Dr. Gangrene on YouTube, and he responded to a comment. I'm like, oh my god, this is Dr. Gangrene. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe Bob Briggs, when he messaged us on Twitter, like, I love that we live in an age where you can actually talk to these, people that you look up to and that you admire.
I actually gave Joe Bob a screenplay once, and he read it, and then he said he was accepting screenplays after he took mine. He posted that on his social media. He's like, I am now taking screenplays. But
yeah.
I think the only problem is that he was expecting me to make the movie. I don't have the funds to do that. I letting him know that if I ever get the movie made, he has that part. Yeah. Getting kind of... Ryan, what time is it over there? Are we keeping you up too late?
It's 10:59. It's almost 11.
All right. Well, we'll probably let you get going here soon.
I don't care.
You don't.
I stay up till 3 in the morning every time they get up at 8 to go into work.
I can stay up you a little longer then.
All right.
As long as we're not keeping you up, because I don't have a problem right now.
If they want to see it, I'm all for it.
We still got plenty of people watching, and if they're not watching us, then hopefully they're watching.
My parents like to watch.
And I also think Homemaker may be playing a game on her channel. So
okay.
If you're not watching us, definitely support one of these other amazing content creators.
And whoever you're not watching,
and
go back
I don't
and watch
think I
later.
mentioned her earlier, but another person I would really like to mention who is on the stream tonight is Dice Rollin', a newer channel that I found from Bloodbath. Actually, no, I saw her before then, because I remember telling her to do the Bloodbath and Beyond contest. But she is really funny, just really great presence in front of the camera. Knows her horror. The first review I saw of hers was Silver Bullet, and I was in a stream with her today. She's a cool cat. She's a cool person to talk to. If you guys are not subscribed to Dice Rollin', you are missing out. So definitely check her out.
Please go do so. Click that
and
ring that bell.
I love everybody who's on the call tonight. I mean, even if your streams didn't work, I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed that it started late. every single one of us who's ever streamed has had that problem. Some of us have just had more practice, and sometimes it's not even your fault. Sometimes just the technology fails on you, and that's just the way it is.
Well,
but
we had a technical hiccup just a second ago.
There wasn't a stream tonight that I didn't enjoy, including Reverend Hagen's. I mean, every single one of your streams I enjoyed, and I'm just so proud to be in this community with so many people that I respect and admire.
Yeah.
Seeing said, it would be nice if Elvira had a steady show.
Oh, wouldn't it be?
She just didn't have
the thing I always regret is that Vampira show, there's literally almost no footage of it.
So long ago. And then she jumped on Ed Wood to help him out.
Dead Real is another person in the chat. Dead Real, I gotta say, I love your show. I love the, I think it's Buy or Bury on his reviews. I love the puppets when the puppets are out.
They're not Muppets.
You know me, I'm a sucker for freaking puppets or Muppets. He hates them.
Muppets. They're scary.
Yes, Dice Rolling, we were talking about you. You're awesome.
Yeah, Dice kick ass, yo.
She's my ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to have her on Ghouls Night Out if she'll accept the invite.
Hopefully. Just gotta roll the dice and see what it lands on.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. We're gonna be having Ghouls Night Out back once a month. We want to have a monthly commentary once a month. Of course, Brian, we would love to get you involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thank you.
I want Danny to have his own just Danny stream.
All right.
And we're also going to be doing
all
a monthly wrap-up together.
Balls deep. Yeah, since you're not going to be streaming on your channel, Brian, you're going to have to at least come over to ours.
Nope, I plan on it. I loved watching movies with you guys. It's one of the great things.
Yeah, dude.
And there's a lot of ones that are for sure public domain that we can start with.
Like House on Haunted Hill, I want to watch that with you.
Mm-hmm. That's a public domain, so come watch that.
You know what else is public domain that I was trying to get someone to do on their spot tonight? He picked Beast of Yucca Flats, which obviously he was right because that was hilarious. But I would Freaks public domain.
Ooh, Freaks.
Google gobble, Google gobble.
Join us, Brian. One of us. Google gobble.
That is a great film. It is a timeless film. It still works today as well as it worked back in the 20s.
You couldn't make it the same way today, like, not appropriately anyways.
You couldn't make it then. It started his career.
Queenie Todd is in the chat here, guys. Queenie is our local gal. She's from Washington State like we are. We met her at Crypticon. Really cool gal. Really cool channel. Another person I'd love to have on Ghouls Night Out, so check her out as well.
If you are a fan of Freaks, then I would suggest, or werewolf movies that are interesting, check out, was it Blood Moon?
Blood Moon, yes.
That is basically kind of Freaks with a reverse type werewolf girl.
Yes, I really love that movie. And Tim Curry's in it.
Yeah, Tim Curry does a great job in it. He's like the ringmaster for the... Mm-hmm.
We actually did Night of the Living Dead on a stream once.
I need to post that. I still have it. That was kind of...
Oh, really?
I enjoyed hanging out with you. The company that asked us to do it, they were a little fly-by-night, as you put it. I have to agree. Yep. But always a pleasure to hang out with you. But I will post that because I think that was a lot of fun, and I think it ended up being pretty good, even though I was so tired.
It did.
If Danny does a stream, he said you don't want to do like a Boyle's night out. Just be kind of,
I don't know, Danny's Nightmares or something.
We'll figure it out. We agree on a lot of movies, but we have different things that we're more interested in. Like, I'm more interested in foreign films than you are. There's just certain things that you're more into trauma and full moon and that kind of thing than I am. And so just, I don't know, your own spot where you can kind of delve into...
I think I'm more into foreign slashers than you are. But
I agree with that.
Yeah, you're into more foreign in general.
And you're definitely more into the grindhouse than I am.
Mm-hmm. And the Mondo Theater.
But,
I want to see the
me.
new...
I have appreciation for any
Al's Horror Shop is asking if there's any good freak show horror movies. There are. They're all awful.
Well, we just mentioned Blood Moon. That's
Blood
a good
Moon
one.
is a good one. Like,
there's a full moon one that stars the guy that was in Bill and Ted. Oh, what is that?
Keanu Reeves or something Winter?
No, the other one, I think.
Something Winter.
Yeah.
Alex Winter.
Alex Winter. You mean Billy Joe?
Yeah, actually, Screaming Soup did it, and I just can't remember the name of it right now.
You had that one She Freak. That was not a good one.
She Freak is a ripoff of Freaks, and it's terrible and boring, as everything I do is.
No. You make them at least not boring anyways.
Well, that's the whole point, is to attempt to make it so that they're watchable.
That's like the one that you just recently did, Underneath the Body or whatever. What was that?
The Body Beneath.
The Body Beneath, yeah.
Tell me why that's the title. You're way ahead of me on that one.
When you mentioned that in your video, I was like, good point. I don't get it. Where they had like the teal rash and that made them a vampire. But they didn't have fangs or anything else.
These things are hard to explain. They're made quickly, they're made cheaply, and usually they're made by a personality who has problems, let's say.
Yeah, but they
and has things that he needs to spill out on the screen.
A lot of them have their own charm, though. I like that about the ones you pick, especially the horror ones you pick. But yeah, the vampires kind of reminded me of the zombies from Day of the Dead, like the first blue ones you see, but not as done well because it was blotchy and just like, here's some blue, here's some blue.
I would really like to comment on something that Ken, Monster Cinema Production, said in the comments. You know, we get this a lot. Like sometimes I will review a movie that I don't like. I didn't like 12 Feet Deep. I kind of ripped that one a new asshole. But see, here's the thing. You reviewed ATM and you gave it a negative review. That's just our opinion, but we'll have people say that's my favorite movie, and we think that's amazing. The fact that you like a horror movie is your favorite movie, that you love the genre, even if it may not necessarily be a film for us, we love this genre. I mean, even when I guess we don't like the movies, and so yeah, I mean, I love it when I see different people's opinions, and sometimes it's wonderful to see somebody who loves a movie that you don't like. I talked to someone recently who loves Funny Games, which I don't like. But it's fascinating to hear somebody else's opinion on it. They're a different take on it. That's why I like to watch a lot of different reviewers. It'd be very boring to listen to people who have the exact same opinions as myself.
Yeah, and that's why we always try to say at the end, like, hey, are we being too hard on this film? Let us know. Like, we want to hear your thoughts. Have your own thoughts. You don't have to agree with us to hang with us. So...
And it's like Horror Show made a good point of that earlier. Be very honest and stay true to your opinion, because that's what makes this interesting. We don't want to all have the same opinion, and it's interesting to hear different points of view.
And I keep an open mind on even movies I don't like. I want to hear why other people and maybe give that movie a second chance if I think it deserves one.
And sometimes they can even convince you to see a movie that maybe you didn't like initially in a different light, and to give it a rewatch. Maybe you appreciate it more. Maybe
you'll hate it even more. Who knows? But it's fun to talk about. Evil Teddy Bear. Teddy Did It is like one of my favorite episodes from Tales from the Dark Side.
We talked about that on Dice Rollins channel.
Yeah, that's an awesome teddy bear horror.
Oh, Sandra, I've seen that short film and it's really good.
By the way, one thing, and I always, I know I say this every stream up with you guys. One thing that doesn't get a lot of love in the community, and again, I know views are important, and because these things are going to draw in views, is things like Tales from the Crypt, the horror shows that we had back in the 70s or the 80s. Like, remember Friday the 13th, the series?
Yeah.
Remember that? That one lasted quite a few years.
Yeah,
and there were
just strange.
Just many of these kind of series that were just small run series that were independent.
Oh, what was that one called? It was called like... Dark Portraits or Dark Paintings or something, where he like walks through the gallery.
Night Gallery?
Yeah, the Dark Gallery.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was like a Twilight Zone kind of thing.
Well, it was Rod Serling's second show.
It was the guy from the Twilight Zone, but it was like a...
I love Night Gallery. It really was up and down at times, but that's really interesting.
His show, because a lot of people don't realize that Richard Matheson, who also did, the book that Somewhere in Time, I Am Legend, Incredible Shrinking Man, he's behind so much amazing literature. He did a lot of the episodes of The Twilight Zone.
Oh, hey, Macabella just pointed out Tales from the Dark Side. Let's not forget that one. And Monsters,
and
too.
Outer Limits.
But yeah, Tales from the Dark Side has a episode called Teddy Did It, and that's probably the best teddy bear horror.
No, it's called like Oso something.
Oh, yeah, Little Bear or something like that.
Yeah.
But they say Teddy did it like a drinking game.
Yep, Outer Limits.
Basically, yeah.
More sci-fi, though.
But actually, I plan on doing a list of my top 10 favorite episodes of Tales of the Dark Side. So
yeah,
I've been working on it.
We get so behind on stuff, but I mean, we really try to produce good content, and sometimes a review, I did a Black Sunday one, which it's an older movie. Maybe a lot of people didn't watch it. Certainly it's not as much as our open house one or a newer film, but it's important to me sometimes to put a little bit of more time into these movies, because I like to give the trivia, I like to give the good and the bad and the gory of a film, and that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. And
one thing that's interesting too about shows like Tales from the Dark Side, one of my favorite episodes of Tales from the Dark Side starred the guy who was Data in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a simple plot. It was about a guy who was so ornery he refused to die.
Oh, yeah.
And was slowly rotting away.
And then they use pepper, because then when he sneezes, his nose falls off, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to die now.
Yeah, and it's not a horror thing, even though it kind of has a zombie in it. But those shows could take a chance with a script like that and do something interesting.
Yeah, not all of them were horror. A lot of them are, but there's like one where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is like a genie, and that's not really scary, but he gives them funny wishes that backfire, but not in a horrific way, just kind of an ironic way.
What we're getting that's maybe the closest to that these days is Black Mirror.
Yeah, Black Mirror I would say is probably the best series like that. We had one about 5 years. About 5 years ago.
Remember the werewolf episode?
That's an amazing episode.
I love that episode of Fear itself.
It had System of a Down for the opening song, but yeah. No, Fear was
someone mentioned Freddy's Nightmares. I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was a fun one in the 80s.
What frustrates me about Freddy's Nightmares is I vaguely remember when it was on television. I mean, that was back in the 80s when I was still pretty young. And unfortunately, in the United States, you can't find it on DVD or Blu-ray. I would love a release of that, because that's something I want to revisit.
Yep, I
don't think it lasted very long, as I remember.
It was
Maybe
like
a
season.
season.
It was still a fun season, even though I can see why that kind of popped the bubble with the slashers and stuff. Like, it got too big there, where everything was getting out of hand. But I still like it nonetheless. I liked Monsters, too. That was a good one I used to watch all the time.
There's a great box set of that out.
Yeah. But it's expensive.
Dr. Green reviewed that on his channel.
I know, and I've seen it. It's been on my wish list for a long time.
Well, if somebody loved you, maybe they'd buy it for you, but
nobody
you're
loves
married to me, so sorry.
Hey, Brian, you love me?
Nah.
Yeah, okay, kid.
It's on the day. Tuesdays more than Wednesdays.
No, but I liked Monsters. Unfortunately, though, as a kid, my imagination and memory was so much more powerful than the show itself, because I went back and found some episodes of Monsters on YouTube. I don't know if they're still on there, but I found them there because it was driving me crazy for the longest time. I remember as a kid there was an episode of Monsters where the guy has a waterbed that eats women, that he brings into his bed, and it eats the women. And then he goes to this lady's house, and she has a refrigerator that eats men. And I remember just seeing the most fucked up, craziest shit ever as a kid. This is one of my first memories as watching anything on TV and just being scared shitless from it. But when I went back and watched it, it was the cheapest and silliest effects that I had ever seen in my life. And it's wow, that did not hold up to my 4-year-old memory or whatever it was. But
there's one I want to see if maybe some of our British friends on here would remember. I grew up in England. I didn't move here to the United States until I was 11. But I remember there was kind of a anthology series like Tales from the Crypt, but it was British. And the episode that stuck with me is there was an episode about a kid. He has a mirror in his room, and he feels like his reflection is kind of moving out of the corner of his eye. And eventually he gets close enough to the mirror that the doppelganger inside of the mirror takes his place. And it really disturbed me because I had a mirror on a wardrobe in my bedroom that, already kind of scared me. But if you guys recognize that or you remember the series, I would love to remember what it's called.
I can tell you that Goosebumps ripped it off because they had a mirror episode where the doppelgangers take their place.
It wasn't Goosebumps because it was before then. It would have been in the 80s.
By the way, Ariel, I do not know what you're talking about, so I haven't seen that.
Show Vampina.
Yeah,
look into it.
By the way, you can be pleasantly surprised too, because I think I've mentioned this one before. One of the most terrible shows that ever came out of the late 70s was Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Just a horrible show. This is a bad Star Wars ripoff. but it had a vampire episode,
Oh.
which is super great. It is really effective. It is actually relatively spooky.
And that scares the kid.
The makeup is, and the way that the show works, because basically he's trapped in a space station, and a ship crashes in the space station, and they go in to investigate, and everyone's dead in there. But there's a space vampire in there who slowly touches everyone and turns them all into vampires, and near the end, the entire station is basically full of stalking vampires, and Buck Rogers alone. It's a super effective episode. It's strange out of a show that was so poor.
Ariel's
Just out of nowhere.
a kid show on Disney Junior.
Don't ask.
Oh, it's a kid show. Oh, no, yeah, that's probably why I haven't seen
They
it.
also mentioned Ghostwatch in the chat. I remember when that came on because they broadcasted it like it was a real like news feature where they were going to go to a house that was supposedly haunted, and all these horrible things happened to the crew that is going to investigate, and it's really cool. You can see it on Shudder if you haven't seen it already. It's wonderful.
I remember the old like Nickelodeon show called Ghost Rider. I don't remember why I remember it, but I remember it.
Yeah, I don't think we need any more ghost hunter shows. Those are some of the worst tripe
What do you think about the guy
ever been on
from
TV.
Brian? What do you think about the guy from Ghost Adventures? He has like this bizarre collection of strange things. Like he just bought Charles Manson's dentures.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that's really buff and talks about it all the time?
Yeah.
He like goes to haunted
Oh.
houses and he's like basically trying to like pick a fight with the ghosts.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, ghost bro. He's been playing Mario too much.
Yeah,
He thinks if he looks at them that they'll like be shy and turn away from him or something. I
He's
don't
trying to provoke them.
I know, like he's trying to, like I said, it's the Mario technique. You just stare him down. It's not how ghosts work. Not that there are ghosts, but if they are, I doubt that's how they work. Are you?
Yeah,
afraid of
Ariel,
ghosts?
I actually don't know that. I have no idea what
Yeah,
that
Zach
is.
Baggins.
Yeah.
Baggins?
Yeah, that guy is... I never assumed hunting ghosts you had to be a bro. That's the thing. I mean, he's the most bro guy that I've seen in a long time, and just...
I don't...
It didn't seem to be something to your credentials for ghost hunting.
I think that's just the generation that grew up on like Jersey Shore or some shit, because I don't get it either.
It could have been. I do remember an episode where he thought a ghost was hitting on him. And I think that's when I decided that maybe I wasn't going to watch it
Wishful
anymore.
thinking, I think, on his part.
So our former house that we used to live in was built in like 1921. Really old house, and there were some strange things about it. Apparently a lady lived there back in the day who, I don't know, she probably had like schizophrenia or something. She talked to herself and stuff, and so they told us.
A lot of pets went missing.
A lot of pets went missing, and we did have a strange, like, just big mound of dirt
In our basement?
In the basement. But yeah, these local ghost hunters, not like big famous ones, but local ghost hunters got a hold of it, and they contacted us and asked if they could investigate our house. And so they did the whole paranormal activity thing. They put cameras in like every single room, and they wanted to spend a night in our house. They got out the Frankenbox. They did all these insane things, but one of the guys in the group was very Zach Baggins like where he was like going around like, come at me, bro. And it was so funny because we were upstairs and they were watching the video feed upstairs in the attic. And he went down to our bedroom, which is where a lot of strange things happened in our house. And upstairs from the video feed, they thought that the camera was moving. So he went down there, and he's all like buff, like, you know, come at me, bro. 2 seconds later, he comes running up the stairs like a little child, like, oh my god, I'm never going in that
Eyes
room
were
again.
all tearied up. I mean, even if he was putting on a show, it was an amazingly good performance because
bought it.
he was like just dripping out his eyes and just like, I ain't going back in that room. Someone else will have to get that camera later.
Yeah, he very much, like Sanders, had reminded me of the guy from Grave Encounters as well, Zach Baggins, and also the guy from Grave Encounters.
He was like calling the ghost a pussy and shit. It was embarrassing, but
Yeah.
it's funny at the same time. And then later, he like comes running up and he like, we're just like, what's going on? And there was a lot of crazy stuff that did happen. Like not just that night, but that night some stuff did happen. I admit that house gave off a lot of weird vibes. Like I'm not gonna say I believe in ghosts, but I'd say that house has given me a lot of reason to think about it. So
There were some things that I wouldn't be able to explain, but I would accept a reasonable explanation if one was presented.
yeah, so I've never fully believed, but I've never fully disbelieved, and that house was a good example in my life of why.
Yeah,
So-
we've tried really hard to get a hold of the guys. I mean, like I said, they're very, very small group. We've tried to get a hold of the footage, and every time I get a hold of them, they're like, "Oh, we'll try to find it." But it would be really cool because we'd love to post it on the channel. It was
Yeah.
a crazy night.
It was back where we used to film in our old house in that attic background that we used to
Yeah,
have.
the
and
one that had the bookshelf in the background. It's that house.
where we did our first collab with you, Brian.
Mhm.
Spectre Reaper. What happened?
Someone's
there?
talking about the Munsters. Yeah, I love the
Oh,
Munsters.
fuck yeah. I love the Munsters and the Addams Family. The only thing about the Munsters is, as much as I love them, they were only created to compete against the Addams Family.
And
Yep.
yeah, I enjoy the Munsters more than the Addams Family.
I do. But I enjoy the Addams Family movies way more than the Munster movies. So,
This is true. Me too.
So, there you go.
The problem with the Munsters is the Herman makeup just killed the guy playing it. His name, Fred Gwynn, that was
Yeah.
his name.
And
That's why it
Fred-
didn't last
And he
very
was
long.
not replaceable. They tried to, and
No.
later on,
Yep.
but he is not replaceable. He was Herman Munster.
Sometimes, I mean, I like to be open-minded about different actors playing, especially when, like, people get up in arms about, like, Jason Voorhees. So many people have played Jason Voorhees. I mean, yes, I love Kane Hodder, too, but
And he always has my vote.
that's
but-
not his role alone.
Uh-huh.
Whereas, like, Freddy Krueger is Robert Englund. Herman
Mhm.
Munster is Fred Gwynn. There are some things, Donald Pleasance as,
Mhm. Bruce Campbell is
Loomis.
Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver is Ripley. I'm sorry, I just can't see remakes of these characters with different people. I don't want to. That's the reason why I didn't mind the Evil Dead remake, is they just didn't have Ash. Because if you were replaced Ash, I would have been nope. But since you took
That's
him out,
what
it's fine.
always upset me when there was a brief period where they were talking about a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot movie, and it wasn't going to have Joss Whedon involved, which is the first massive sin. Like, a whole bunch of people who were involved in the original show tweeted about it and were against the idea. But also somebody else playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yes, I know Christy Swanson did it too, but after the series,
Who else
and
did it other than Christy Swanson?
Rachel Gellar.
Just fucking with you.
But I mean, yeah, I would be open to a new show or movie in that universe, but I don't want to see anybody else play Buffy.
I want to see the one from the future.
Frey.
Frey,
Oh.
yes.
So, Gory, how'd you feel about the two Darrens on Bewitched then?
The two
Is
Darrens?
Bewitched a horror show, by the way?
The horror show?
Is Bewitched a horror show? It has
I would
witches?
say so, yeah. I love
Yeah.
Bewitched.
Bewitched is a horror.
It had Paul Lynde, which I think makes it kind of a horror show.
Yeah.
The two Darrens don't bother me. I don't think, again, like replacing Samantha would have been a criminal, but replacing Darren, not so much.
Yeah.
You could replace
There
Tabitha.
were a lot of fantasy shows. I mean, the same time as Bewitched, there was I Dream of Jeannie.
I love that show. I mean, it's not horror, but I do love I Dream of Jeannie. I just never got what his problem was. She, threw herself at him and wanted to grant every wish, and he would always act like it was, some inconvenience for him. I was like, what?
I think he was always thinking of the genie paradox. And I think most of the time, just like in Bewitched, the wishes went wrong. Which
There's,
actually, sort of, if you think about it, makes Bewitched was sort of kind of sexist, because as much power as Samantha had, she was always messing everything up, and it was Darren would come in and have to yell at her to fix it.
it was basically I Love Lucy with witchcraft.
And then...
Basically, yeah.
Thankfully, she just wouldn't go, "Aw, Ricky." Yeah, there you go, Lucy. But, Samantha did have a wicked mother and, I believe, a sister that would punish him quite
her
often.
sister's
You
dangerous.
would see, a Barbie doll version of him in a cage. It was hilarious.
I love Paul Lynde in the show Paul Lynde in the show was great. I mean,
Mhm.
it just it was always fun to see. He was Uncle. I can't remember what his name was.
I
He had a
I
career
know
on
what you're talking
Hollywood
about,
Squares.
Mhm.
And another one we talked about earlier, movies where the studio really destroyed a film. In the chat, Macrobella mentioned Deadly Friends. Speaking of Christy Swanson, that's one Wes Craven one where the footage, there's tons of footage shot, and they basically almost made them entirely reshoot that movie because the studio didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
That it was meant to be more of a heartfelt story, and they cut a lot of the heart out of that movie, and then Wes Craven was just really disappointed. I would love a director's cut of that. There's actually a petition going around to make that happen.
It sounds like a lot of the similar
Uncle
problems.
Arthur, Dice Roll and
Yeah,
Remember.
Uncle Arthur. Sounds like a lot of the same problems the Final Girls had to go with, where it's like, well, if it has heartfelt, then guys won't watch it. But if it has, like, tits and blood, girls won't watch it. It's like, come on. People aren't that stupid. We can watch what we want to watch. There's women that like tits and blood, and there's men who like things that have deep stories. You don't have to cut them out. Don't sacrifice quality just for throwing some jump scares like the studio tells you to do. But that's how it goes. That's why South Korea is just hitting it out of the park these days. Because when they make a horror movie, they just set out to make the best movie they can. They'll try to make you laugh. They'll try to make you cry. They try to go for all the feels, and they don't care that it's a horror movie or whatever movie they're making.
Well, at least the South Korean movies that we get to see over here. I mean, Train to Busan, Tale of Two Sisters, The Wailing, they're all phenomenal. I don't know how many duds they cross.
They might have some shit too, but it's not making it over here. I'm just saying that they don't have, like, what Hollywood, it does have no control over South Korea. South Korea is South Korea. They can do what they want. They want to make a good movie. They set out to it. It's harder to do that here in America unless you avoid Hollywood, but then you won't have the money.
I think one of the big differences, and this isn't always true, if you look at the movies that have done really well or have been really good horror films, there's usually a singular vision involved.
Yeah, usually.
And that's the thing. There's one guy that's usually in charge, usually a director or a writer-director or one of those things that has an idea of what his movie is going to be and sees it to completion. When you have 28 writers and all sorts of other things, it will become muddled after a while.
And sometimes
I think that's what you're seeing with some of the South Korean ones. Yeah. It's just a guy that it's his whole vision, and he completes the film in the way that he wanted to complete it. It could be awful, but at the same time, usually it comes up something decent.
That's what Adam Green did when he made Hatchet 2. Because he really got killed by the MPAA for, like, they censored him so badly for the first Hatchet, and the studio was so on him. It got a much higher release, the first Hatchet did, because he really played ball for all that. But when he made the second one, he's like, they were, like, telling him, all right, well, we don't like this kill. And he's like, well, what do you not like about it? And they wouldn't tell him. And he's like, you know what? We won't even explain what happened to those two characters. Let's just cut that completely out. How about we throw it on just the unrated Blu-ray or DVD? And they're like, okay. But there you go. You can release it in as many theaters you want. You can hack my Hatchet 2 to whatever you need to hack it to. Just take out what you don't like. Put it in as many theaters as possible. Just let me have my unrated DVD. And they're like, fair enough. So there you go. You didn't even bother to, like, make part 2 the way they wanted him and kept, making him jump through hoops. He just made it the way he wanted to. Said, all right, for the theater release, take what you want out. But just give me my final copy for me.
And
that is great. I recommend that to anyone.
The Movie Boy talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is a film I think is really underappreciated. Ivan, I would highly recommend reading a book called Men, Women, and Chainsaws. She talks in depth about that movie, and that book is what really has made me love and appreciate that film.
Hi, Jimin the Demon.
I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I think the thing that's... Hooper did exactly what he had to do. He couldn't make another Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
He couldn't. It would just be compared with the other one. There's no reason. It's the same thing that Raimi did. Raimi went from the first Evil Dead to one that was more comedy. It's what he had to do.
Well, and the reason
is exactly. And I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I absolutely adore the film. It is silly where it needs to be silly, and all the characters are hamming it up. It's just a great film. By the way, Tobe Hooper is the one thing that is always one of the most interesting things about directors is the whole poltergeist phenomenon.
Yeah, that's a skill.
Him or Spielberg, it will never be known.
But the thing is with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is he put a lot of intentional humor in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it kind of bummed him out that nobody got it.
Yeah.
And so he decided to go kind of balls to the wall with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
They'll get this humor.
He's like, yeah, you're going to get it this time.
I'm going to shove it down your damn throats, which I can see why that upsets some people, but...
Yeah, in the original, the humor is supposed to come from just something outlandishly shocking. But it was so new that all you got was the shock out of it.
The footage is so like raw feeling that it seems
and
so scarily real. So
the ongoing joke also of Grandpa always gets him in one hit.
Mhm.
And we never see that until
Finally.
my cousin, in the Leatherface prequel, we finally see how Grandpa got his reputation.
Yeah, I loved how that finally got out in there because the first two movies talk about it at length, where Grandpa was the best at just hitting him with the hammer.
And in every movie, he's just
So
complete
old
shit.
and frail, especially the second one. It was like he's basically dead.
Uh-huh.
The first one, he was barely conscious in the first one, so it's like,
Poor Grandpa.
Yeah, I like Funhouse. Funhouse is not a bad film. It's not a great film.
don't judge it by its poster because that is very misleading. There's no clown.
The Roman Reigns of films.
I like Funhouse, but the poster won't give you anything you're expecting. So they go to a carnival, and her little brother's a peeper, Tom. I don't know. I enjoy it. It's a silly movie though. It's not a whole lot of depth to it. It's just a fun fast food.
No, yeah, another one I'm kind of two minds of. What else did Cooper do? I'm trying to remember what else he went through. What other films did he do?
Hooper.
He did the Invaders from Mars remake.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Went there
yeah.
recently.
He also did the other spacey one with the vampires in space.
Oh, Life Force. Oh,
Life
God.
Force.
Oh, yikes.
And then he did the
completely
Toolbox
forgot about
Murder
Life
movies.
Force. Look, there are very good reasons to watch Life Force. There's one really good reason to watch Life Force, and there's not much else other than that.
And then it was Wes Craven did the one where the astronaut was in hell.
Yeah.
What's that called?
Invitation to Hell.
Invitation to Hell. Yeah, where he's like wearing an astronaut.
That was a TV movie, by the way.
Yeah, it was, but I like it. It's just it's interesting. Sometimes like, you ready to call it? All right, Gory's gonna pass out. I probably should feed her and tuck her in. So I guess we're about
And
to
the dog was
go
like,
ahead and
please let me
call it.
outside.
Oh yeah, the dog wants out. That's why he's like begging for our attention right now. He's like, why you stare at the computer so long?
But guys, I see someone's in the chat. Homicidal Homemaker is live gaming right now, so definitely check her
Yes.
out. She's phenomenal. Give her your support.
I'll probably jump over there and watch her play. I wonder if she's playing Slay Away Camp.
I'm probably gonna go to sleep.
I can't sleep now. I'm beat, but I took a nap, so I think I'm okay for a while. Brian, we love having you on. You are.
Yep, I love being with you guys. Let's do a movie one of these days.
will.
It's my favorite thing.
But thank you just for shooting the shit with us. We'd love to just talk horror with you. You know your shit. Everybody go sub Brian right now. He knows his horror shit, and he puts on very good quality videos. Sometimes you gotta wait because he puts so much time into them, but
And
it's
absolutely,
worth
if you
it.
want a good quality, well-produced show, Brian Barnes is, I think, one of the most overlooked shows on YouTube. It's so well-produced. It's so funny. It's a big
Wait, maybe my
throwback.
face.
Well, it's a big throwback to the horror host shows that we
Oh,
love.
yeah.
So, absolutely.
He's got-
I don't know why you don't have 1 million subscribers. It's ridiculous.
He's just got tons of fun characters on there. He's got himself, but he's got other ones that he plays. He's got animated characters on there too. So
The gorilla,
yep, the
the
Beast,
banana.
Captain Banana, the Beast, the Reaper, who's been on our show, and we hope to have him back as well on our show soon. Like I said, he's the Rodney Dangerfield. Like when I play it up, I don't have any respect for the Reaper, but in reality, I do. Like behind the scenes, I got mad respect for the Reaper.
And if you can't find his link, you can absolutely find him in our featured channels where there are loads of amazing channels. But absolutely, Brian Barnes, you need to subscribe to him. You will not be disappointed.
Yes. Quality show, Brian. All right. Last words, Brian?
No. After that, I'm too embarrassed to say anything.
All right. Well, we're out and good night.
Again. By the way, no, I do have a last word.
Okay.
You two deserve an awful lot of credit and anything else that can come your way for putting this together.
Oh,
You are one of the bigger channels, and when you care about all the other people that are your friends and your other channels,
Oh, we do.
that means more than anything in this stupid YouTube rat race.
Oh, yeah. And
So thank you.
like I said, with Brian, it is quality over quantity. That's, I think, the main thing that hurts Brian and a few other channels is that he doesn't put out a whole lot because he puts so much time into them. but they are worth the wait. Go subscribe so they'll pop up in your feed. Hit that bell, and you will get notified. All right, good night, and
thank you all for being a part of the Creepy Channel Crawl, and thank you, Brian.
For helping us end it out. That was 25 plus hours of just amazing horror content, and you all deserve a huge round of fucking applause.
I'm gonna pass
fucking
out
applause.
now. If you guys don't hear from us on social media, no, we're not dead. We're just gonna be in a sleep coma. We love you guys.
Love you.
Good night.
Night night.